Hello and welcome to Bounty into Comics. My name is John Trent. I'm the founder and editor-in-chief. I am joined by my associate editor, Spencer McCooley, and co-host Donald Edmonds. How is everyone doing tonight?
Doing well. How about you guys?
Fantastic. Living in the dark, speaking to people I can't see.
I'm actually kind of tired.
Cave.
I was having trouble staying awake earlier after dinner, so I'm drinking some caffeine here. Got my Dr. Pepper, so we'll be able to make it through. I think I hit my second wave, so I'm feeling pretty good now.
Hard seltzer. No.
Need that bang.
Here you go. Yeah, I don't have any more. I got them when I was driving back home from
Florida.
From Florida, and I thought, it was North Carolina, Florida, North Carolina. It's all on the same trip, and I had them left over because I didn't actually need them to drive home. So I just I had those two extras left over. Now I don't have any more because I drank them before. But it's good to see everyone in the chat. I see that LOTR, Team King of Inferno is here. Father Christopher Miller is here. Mark Seth is here. Mark 63366 is here. He made it clear that he is not an American. We found that out. I saw someone else here as well. Tehillim 29 is here. I saw something that Mark is saying. We can ask John how it is living in a military camp. It's all normal here in Alexandria. I haven't noticed anything, but I'm also outside the city, and I don't really leave the house that often.
Welcome to the writer's life.
Things are still going well. So I don't know anything. I mean, the Fort Belvoir is just down the road, and I've been on the fort quite a bit, so it's I mean, the fort's usually fine, and I've been on there, and there's no problems. But they changed everything up, so I don't go on as often as I used to. But yeah, so we got a big show lined up today. We're going to talk a lot of Star Wars rumors. We're going to talk about that. I have some pretty strong opinions. I voiced them in a video earlier today, and I guess throughout the week I've been voicing those opinions. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about we'll talk about Ray Fisher. He says he got fired. I think he says he used the word removed, which it was really. We'll get to this, but I just want to point this out right now. It was really weird because he said he wasn't going to be working on a production.
I know, for real.
Walter Hamada. So the fact that he was getting, like, I don't know. It's really strange.
the little. We'll get to it. I don't want to jump ahead.
The devil in the details.
Yeah, we'll do.
We're going to talk It's childish.
Yeah.
Gambino.
We'll talk the new Lord of the Rings synopsis. I think we'll probably just briefly touch that. We won't really get into that a lot because I don't really know if there's a lot to get into there, aside from like getting into rumors from the OneRing.net, because I'm not super expert on the Lord of the Rings and that stuff. I did try and read the Silmarillion, but I never finished it because it was a tough read. And then I think we're gonna talk some. We'll talk some Army Hammer. Maybe talk some. If we get to it, we'll talk Cobra Kai. They're coming after that. They're coming after that show. So get ready for that. What else did we say we were going to talk about? There's lots to talk about. We'll see if we get to all of it.
I mean,
but that's kind of what we got.
Ireland blocking everybody.
Yeah, I think she ran a blockchain.
She went crazy,
that's not surprising. Twitter blocking people doesn't work unless you private your account, and even then, people are already following you with dummy accounts, so you're not stopping anyone from seeing what you're saying, which is the only purpose of blocking people, is to try and prevent people from seeing what you're saying.
What?
She definitely blocked the bounding website.
I know she definitely did it through bounding. I'm looking at her feed right now.
It looked like she ran a blockchain because a lot of people got blocked.
Yeah, I totally thought she did.
Yeah, so it's strange that
that I missed it.
Wait,
yeah, maybe
you're not blocked.
She used a bad blockchain.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think she definitely did run a blockchain. I just don't know. It probably just messed up. I probably just got through.
Slipped through the cracks.
Yeah.
I am the agreeable one. I'm the referee.
Referee.
You're the one that just.
Have you ever been a referee?
Nobody likes the refs.
Have you ever been a referee, Don? Referees are not agreeable. I know. I've been one. I was one for almost a third of. More than a third of my life, almost half my life, since I was 12. I was a referee into my early 20s. So I was a referee for over a decade, and you're not agreeable. You got to make tough decisions. You got to give people the red card when they're being bad.
You got to throw them out.
You got to give them the warnings. You give them the warnings. They keep misbehaving. You give them the caution. You do it again. Hey, I gave you multiple verbals, gave you a caution, and you're still doing it. Take a hike.
You're out. Yeah.
I've thrown out entire sections of parents because they were just causing the game.
It was going
to run
crazy.
amok. It was horrible. They were ruining the game. So I just get out. Goodbye. I mean, you just run into crazy stuff, man. As a referee's got to make tough decisions. You might have to rethink that, calling yourself the referee there.
I might have to update it to like the sideline popcorn eater.
The color commentator.
I do. I like that. I like when you call yourself the referee in that line because it means you are going to be you're going to have to make a tough decision.
At some point I will have to lay it down, but when you know you have to lay it down, it's just like it's gone to that point, that fever pitch point.
So, like we do with all of our streams, we're going to start off with talking about what we have been enjoying over the past week, whether that's reading a comic, playing a video game, watching a TV show or a movie, getting outside, working out or something. If you're doing that, so we'll get to that. We'll start with Spencer.
Yeah, so I'm sure you guys won't be surprised to hear that I'm still powering through Persona 5 Royal. It's fantastic. Still can't get enough of it. But aside from that, because I'm sure nobody wants to hear me talk for 4 or 5 hours on it, I have been checking out DC's Future State, which kind of sucks. Surprisingly, Wonder Woman, the Brazilian Wonder Woman, is like the best thing out of it, and she's pretty fun as a character. Really cool mashup of like Greek and Brazilian mythology to make her pantheon and everything, and she's really cool. But then like Superman is really boring.
Is she from Themyscira?
I don't think they've said where she's from yet. If Deviant Porg is here, he might be able to tell us. But I know that Wonder Woman Wonder Woman came before her in this timeline, I guess, or whatever this world is. But she's fun. Batman by John Ridley is boring. It's the exact same thing you would think of when you think of a Batman story. Just whatever, not that exciting. Black Batman isn't that new or revolutionary, and I don't know why they brought in Lucius Fox's other son when Luke was right there as Batwing. It's all for the headlines.
They brought in a character whose like biggest claim to fame was like a throwaway panel from 1980.
That's exactly what they did, and that's the only panel they can reference, and they do it like multiple times. But
so in that panel, they make him out like to be like he's like the prodigal son, like the Bible, the
parable.
The Bible parable. Is there any of that in the
yeah, but nobody likes him right now, I guess. Like everybody expected him to come home and be the prodigal son, but when he came home, everybody was pissed at him. So like there's a scene where he talks to Luke and they just get a big argument.
That's what the prodigal son is. The older brother is jealous and doesn't like him because the dad.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that part. So it is pretty 1-to-1 on that parable. But aside from that,
I figured that's what they were going to do.
It
seemed predictable to me.
It's super. Everything except for Wonder Woman and actually Justice League is super predictable. And Flash is awful because in the first issue they just kill off Bart and they make Wally the villain again because they just want to shit all over Wally forever, and it's boring. But
he's a redhead.
Dude, I'm honestly, that's got to be the reason at this point, especially for his comic treatment. But that's what I have been up to.
All right, let's get into the chat before we move on to Don. I see Father Christopher Miller says he's been reading Lenten Lands, which is written by C.S. Lewis's stepson, and is about growing up with C.S. Lewis as a stepfather. I think I saw Mark Seth saying he was watching Discovery of Witches. You have to let us know if that's any good. What else? I saw Lopter was looking for some kind of like, I don't know, Plague Lord or something like that.
He's also playing Fallout 3 Mothership Zeta, which is fun. I like that one. Not a lot of people do, but I'm a huge Alien guy, so I loved it.
Roof Green is saying The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and the other 6 chronicles led me to Tolkien in the Lord of the Rings special features doc. I found they were good friends. Yep, they were lots of letters to each other, and
Master and Apprentice, right?
I thought they were more like peers.
I think they were peers, but I do think that Lewis was heavily influenced by Tolkien's Catholicism, although he never. I don't think Lewis converted.
No, he converted at the end
to Catholicism.
I thought he was Catholicism. Yeah.
Oh, he did. Okay.
I thought it was just Christianity.
Don't ask me how I know that.
Yeah, I didn't think he became a Catholic.
Yeah.
Okay. I believe you. I'll trust you on that. I see that Alexander Vidakovich is reading the New York Times bestseller list. The New York Times bestseller list has been exposed. It's just it's owned by the publishers, pretty much. So it's no surprise that those books are up there.
Oh man, Alexander, you're reading Ready Player 2? I'm so sorry. I don't know why you would subject yourself to that, but Godspeed.
He's saying citing Whitaker. When I see that word, when I see that name, I think of Jodie from Doctor Who. Is there another one I'm supposed to be thinking of?
I don't know. I just know that everything about that book is awful.
Yeah,
it's poorly written. It's all references. It's exactly like the first book, but somehow worse.
Yeah, I thought so. I didn't think Lewis ever converted to Catholicism. Okay. All right, Don, what have you been up to? How far are you in the first Wheel of Time book?
First Wheel of Time. I put it on
Eye of the Storm
because I got something going on, a little project I'm trying to get going, and I'll announce the results at some point later on.
Okay.
Also, P90X.
Yeah, I saw you've been working out.
Yeah, dude, every day except Saturday, but every day. Been doing some working out. So at the end of this, I will look as cut and as trim as Star Wars Theory. Be able to raise $35,000 for St. Jude's cancer research. Thank you.
Oh, that's awesome. But yeah, dude, the getting started is the hardest part. So you've already overcome like the worst struggle.
I don't know if getting started is the hardest. I think being persistent is the
maybe you might be right. Yeah, keeping with a consistent schedule. Yeah. I remember dealing with that when I started working out all the time.
Yeah, we're gonna try and get back to our daily walks that we were doing. We kind of sloughed off on those.
It was the holidays. It's okay.
Yeah, the holidays and Georgiana at the same time. So we got to get back to those.
You can pull her in like a wagon now and it'd be adorable. Or maybe not yet, but not yet. But
we got the wagon, but not yet. We got we'll just push her in the stroller still. Yeah, I wanted to read this again. I highlighted. Oh, that's not it. This one. The chat was moving on me. Father Christopher Miller says he's the Ready Player 2 audiobook is read by Will Wheaton. My cup runneth over with agony.
I think he did the first one too.
I have no intention of ever reading those books. So I did like the. I thought the movie that Spielberg did was actually kind of fun, especially when the Gundam shows up. So.
I mean, that's just the best part.
Yeah,
the Gundam versus Mechagodzilla for all of 3 seconds.
Yeah. I was like, why did you not give us more of that? Please.
Just give us that movie.
Yes. So as for me, I read some of Billy Tucci's The She, Return of the Warrior, and then I forget what the other one was called. I think it's a reprint of the old one.
Oh, because you got the cards. Now you want to read the stories?
I had already bought it. I had already ordered this like a while ago.
Oh, what a coincidence.
It just came in. Yeah, so here it is.
I forget, she comes from a Catholic background, right?
Yes, her mom is. I think it's her mom is Catholic, and then her dad is Japanese, but she's trained by her grandfather. So yeah, here's She, Return of the Warrior. That's the Billy. I got the variant cover. So that was it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I mean, maybe this is just me, but I found I saw the twist coming pretty easily. But it wasn't like I don't know if you're like I didn't take away from my enjoyment of the book because it was fun. It was just kind of like there's a bad guy out there, and it had kind of like had a Hannibal Lecter feel kind of to it.
Nice.
Because like the villain is the main. If you've read any of the She stuff before, one of the main villains is this like super serial killer, and he's been locked away in prison. And so you're introduced to like another character who's like his therapist or whatever, and it has a twist on that story. And I kind of I liked it. I liked it. I saw it coming, but I liked it. It was and there's a lot of risks involved, and she's kind of getting back into the game. So she makes mistakes because she's not like on the top of the level because she's not doing it every day or doing it all the time. So I kind of enjoyed that. But I will say I really enjoyed the other one that came with it, which I don't know where it is right now. And that was obviously I think it was on newspaper print. At least that's what it felt like. And that one I thought that story was much more fun and enjoyable. But I liked both of them. And then I got this just came in the mail the other day. Graham Nolan's The Chinoo. So I'm gonna check that out. I haven't been able to read it yet, but I'm looking forward to that. I got all these like cool stuff from him. I got a card from him too. There's like a bookmark, some other stuff. Nice. I got a bunch of stuff from Billy Tucci too. He gave me some stuff. I don't remember if I that was part of like what I paid for, but it was cool seeing it because I mean you back these things so long ago you forget about them. But what else? Oh, I've been playing Genshin Impact. I'm really enjoying that. I have gotten to the point where like it's become obviously a gacha game, and you have to like start grinding it out for the materials to like upgrade your characters. But they do seem to update it quite often. So there's already been like 2 events since I've been playing, and I've only been playing for 3 weeks. So there's new content seemingly all the time. So it keeps you up like having stuff to do all the time.
I just started it because I saw you playing it all the time. So
all right, we need to do some co-op because like
yeah, definitely.
Because there's this event you have to do co-op for. Like you can't solo, which I really don't like that. I want to be able to like beat events by myself.
Yeah, like roll through it.
And if you want to do co-op, it should be easy to like do co-op. But like this one co-op, it's kind of hard. Like it should be like, okay, you need to be able to queue for people to do this. So like in this one thing, this one thing, you literally have to like fly up these different pillars to get to like a checkpoint, while another person has to be on the ground killing slimes in order to like increase the time because it's timed. You have to get there at a certain time, but if you kill the slimes, you get extra time. So you need 2 people. Like you can't. There's not enough time for you as a single person.
So like hit it, just kill them all down there and then run up.
To fly up, yeah. I tried doing that. It didn't work. It didn't work. You need 2 people. And then I tried. Once I get there,
I'll be your man on the ground.
Yeah. So I need someone. I need some help there. Yeah. Alexander says Genshin is dangerous if you have a gambling problem. Fortunately, I don't.
Yeah, I don't
have some self-control for that. But I do. I will say there is the urge to be like, oh man, I really want to keep pulling. I really want to keep pulling for this character. You just gotta
like, I just know it'll be the next one.
Yeah, and just be like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
You're like, nah.
So that's been fun. I have been enjoying that game quite a bit.
It is really cool.
That's what I've been doing a lot in when I have free time. I've been doing that.
Also, you talking about She reminded me. Dynamite just started a new miniseries called Red Sonja Meets Superpowers, where Red Sonja meets a bunch of old school public domain heroes.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. It's written by Dan Abnett.
Crossbones guy. Oh, Abnett's writing it. Okay, so it might be decent.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, exactly. So far, the first issue dropped this Wednesday, I guess, and so far so good.
Abnett
interesting.
Is, I don't know if I have it here. I don't know if he's the author on this one. No, he's not. But yeah, Abnett did Horus Heresy. Mm-hmm. This is part of it with the Warhammer books, which are excellent. Oh, is this in here?
Abnett also did the rad run on.
Yeah, here it is. Horus Heresy, Horus Rising.
There you go. Yeah,
that one, fantastic. His Aquaman run during, I think that was Rebirth. before
It was one of them, yeah.
Before the Connick took over was excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. So good.
And of course he
So
was
good.
he was one of the around with Andy Lanning. He did that amazing Guardians of the Galaxy run back in like 2008.
Yeah, that's what the movies are based off of.
Yep.
I haven't read the Guardian stuff, but yeah, his stuff is really good. I like his Warhammer. I like his Warhammer novels. Mm-hmm. I like what he's done in comics. He's a good solid writer, and he can do both novels and comics, which is something that not a lot of people can say they can do well.
It's like him and J. Michael Straczynski, pretty much.
Father Christopher Miller is saying he's going to have to send me a trailer, but he just started watching the first and only season of 1995's Deadly Games, where Christopher Lloyd plays a devil-like bad guy. Oh, that sounds interesting.
Never heard of that.
Markler Seth says he won't watch his Dark Materials because it was the atheist response to Chronicles of Narnia. I read all of the his dark, like it's the Golden Compass books. I think if I remember correctly, in the end, like I thought it didn't really have a. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. It's been a while.
I don't remember the Golden Compass having any like pro-atheism themes or anything.
I think there was criticisms from the fact that like in the story, God had like abandoned his role of like judging souls or something like that because they had all just been collecting on this like planet, and what is her name? Lyra has to
Lyra
fix it or whatever. But it's been a long time since I've read those. So, but I think at the end, like she has to embrace faith or something. I don't know. It's been a while. I know there's criticisms for it. It's obviously not as good. The first season is pretty decent. It's pretty much from my memory, it follows basically the Golden Compass movie with Nicole Kidman, which adapted the first book. So that's pretty close. There were some like disparities that I remembered. Like they introduced, like they're already showing, so spoilers, but they're already showing people going in between the worlds, whereas like in the book you don't get that until the end of that book. Yeah, it's at the very end of the book where they actually figure out how to jump worlds. All right. And Father Christopher Miller is saying Deadly Games was produced by Leonard Nimoy. Yeah, send me that trailer. I'll check that out. I see OC Steve is here with us. What is he saying?
Yeah, Don, you need to get the gamer rig to be like comics.
About the mood lighting. Whereas, like, I'm not even using any lighting right now. This is just for my screen. The light was getting in the way of the path, and I didn't want to knock it over. So it is not there anymore. All right, so let's get into what do we want to do? We want to start with let's start with like what's breaking first, and do the Ray Fisher story. Can you bring that up, Spencer?
Bring in. StreamYard, share screen. And it is over.
So if you haven't been following what's going on with Ray Fisher, he's we lost Spencer.
We lost Spencer.
But what's been happening with Ray Fisher is that he has been accusing Joss Whedon and multiple DC executives, specifically at least former DC executives Jeff Johns and John
the share screen menu option right next to the back button. Honestly.
So he's been accusing them of racism, and then he's more recently he's been going after current DC Films president Walter Hamada, claiming that he was trying to cover up Jeff Johns's alleged racism on the set of Justice League. At least that's what his insinuation is. He doesn't outright say that Johns is being racist. He says something to the effect of like, what does he say? Well, we'll get to it here in his letter, but he does that. Looks like Spencer is now writing my comments.
I got to get the message out, otherwise Fisher will get me again.
All right, so let's just read this here. Did I spell this? Yeah, no, I spelled that right. Okay. Cyborg actor Ray Fisher claims that Warner Brothers Pictures fired him from the Flash movie. Fisher, who played Cyborg in Justice League, made the claim in a recent post to social media. On Twitter, he shared 2 images featuring a letter that he wrote. The letter begins, I received official confirmation that Warner Brothers Pictures has decided to remove me from the cast of The Flash. I strongly disagree with their decision, but it is one that is unsurprising. So yeah, he says remove, fired. He was fired.
Oh yeah, definitely fired.
That's code for being fired. But we'll get to why this is weird, and why he has he's making it. It's weird that he even has an issue with it. Despite the misconception, Cyborg's involvement in The Flash was much larger than a cameo. And while I do mourn the lost opportunity to bring Victor Stone back to the screen, bringing awareness to the actions of Walter Hamada will prove to be a much more important contribution to our world. So this is what we're talking about here, where it's kind of weird that he's saying that he was removed, because he had already said that he wasn't going to do any
he was so
films that were attached with that Walter Hamada was attached to. So he says, while Fisher claims he's been removed from The Flash, he goes on to reiterate his claim from December that he would not work on any production associated with Walter Hamada. The Flash is a film associated with Walter Hamada, given he's the current president of DC Films.
Was this the first confirmation that he was actually going to be in The Flash?
I think so, yeah. There was rumors.
Yeah, there's been so many rumors, but he just outright says it here.
Yeah, he confirmed that he was going to be in The Flash. Or maybe that's what he's... Or, I mean, who knows? Maybe it was like a PR that he's just trying to play on the rumors. Who knows who's telling the truth in all of this?
Yeah, seriously.
So he says, on December 30th, 2020, I made it clear that I cannot, with a clear conscience, participate in any production associated with the current president of DC Films, Walter Hamada. So, this is in the letter that he wrote today, and he's saying that, he said back on the 20th that he wouldn't be in any production with current president of DC Films. And so, it shouldn't, so it was kind of like he was giving an ultimatum to DC Films: get rid of your president, or okay.
And then, of course, they re-up Hamada's contract. So
yeah, they did. Yeah,
it was probably over for Fisher at that point.
Yeah, I didn't even add that in here. I should have added that in here, but I was just kind of getting this up real quick. So he then went on to explain his reason as to why he would not participate in the production associated with Walter Hamada. Why are we ringing the bell?
Something you said.
Getting it up really quick.
Okay.
Oh. Okay. Walter's purposeful attempt to undermine the Justice League investigation in order to protect his friend and former co-president Jeff Johns. And then Walter's attempt to protect himself by contributing to the public dissemination of lies and misinformation about myself and the Justice League investigation in Warner Brothers Pictures September 4th statement to The Wrap. So that's when Warner Brothers responded to Fisher's original accusations, I think. His problem is with Johns and Hamada, and I think he sees Hamada as the bigger target now to him.
And Whedon, I think, right? Didn't he have problems with Whedon?
The main issue was with Whedon, and then he then claimed that John Berg and Jeff Johns were preventing his complaint from going through the proper channels, and they were trying to cover for Whedon, and then that they were he actually says that they were racists or involved in racism towards him that happened on the set. But he hasn't given any. He's made specific claims, but he hasn't provided any evidence of those claims whatsoever yet. At least as far as the public knows.
Yeah.
So he continues in his letter saying, bear in mind, Walter Hamada interfering with the Justice League investigation is a completely separate issue than the investigation itself. And while Walter's behavior was not a point of focus for the investigation of the Justice League reshoots, his dangerous and enabling actions during the investigation process must be called to account.
Dun, dun, dun.
On July 7th, 2020, during a 57-minute long phone call with Walter, I made multiple attempts to have him... I think I made a misspell. No, that was in there. He made that spelling error. To have him escalate my claim, because I double-checked that. I remember that. Of misconduct against Joss Whedon, Jeff Johns, and John Berg through the proper channels. Rather than escalate the situation when initially asked, Walter disparaged Joss Whedon and John Berg in an attempt to cover for Jeff Johns. When I alerted Walter that Jeff was, in fact, a major contributor to the issues experienced, including blatant racism. Walter, he's not specifically saying that Johns was being racist. He's saying that he was a contributor to the issues experienced, whatever that means. He still hasn't given any examples of whatever the racism he experienced was.
None yet.
Right. Where was I? Walter tried, but to no avail, to get me to reveal the names of witnesses and other specifics that can be used to forewarn Jeff Johns to the claims being brought against him. Walter even went so far as to sharply dismiss certain claims of mine as untrue because of his work experience and personal relationship with Jeff. So if you can't tell, it's a lot of he said, she said right now.
Yeah, definitely.
There's literally zero evidence from both sides on this. The only thing we've really seen is like Whedon is kind of on the outs at Warner Brothers when he was removed from his, like, I think it was his original project, The Nevers. But that show is still going forward. It's just without him. So I'm wondering if he's still getting paid for it, because I think that was like an original.
He'll probably get some royalties.
Yeah, so that's interesting too. I see Father Christopher Miller is calling it a night. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Have a great night. We do appreciate you joining. All right, so then he wrote, Walter indicated that he was briefed on Joss Whedon's problematic behavior well in advance of my speaking out on July 1st. That briefing likely came from Jeff Johns, with whom Walter served as co-president. Regardless of how he was made aware, Walter knew that there was legitimacy to my claims against Joss Whedon. Yet he persisted in trying to minimize and dismiss the situation, claiming that it is a producer's job to protect the director and that he was looking to move beyond anything to do with Zack Snyder's Justice League. So that's like an interesting ripple there. I feel like he's trying to garner sympathy from Snyder supporters to try and drive a wedge there. I thought that was just kind of an interesting line.
Yeah, right.
Because I think at that time it did seem like
they were
Warner
moving away
Brothers
from
was moving away from Snyder, and then AT&T kind of came in, and at least that's what the reports are saying, and that's what it looks like. Came in and was like, "We're doing Snyder Cut, cool," because we want to promote HBO Max. And then Fisher says, it wasn't until I argued Walter down that he agreed to escalate my claims as asked, citing it as above his pay grade. That just seems really weird too.
Yeah.
He's like, who else is above him?
Who's above you?
Like,
yeah.
I guess
Warner Brothers president himself,
the Warner Media guy. Yeah, I guess the Killar or whatever. I think is his name.
Is it Jason Killar? Yeah, Jason.
Yeah, Killar, and then whoever the AT&T president is, I forget his name. Knowing that he had overstepped and that I had no intention of backing down, Walter made matters
Stanky.
I think it's probably
John Stanky.
worse. Yeah, Stanky, that's right, the AT&T guy, by making a tastelessly self-aware joke about not wanting me to put him on Twitter about this.
So he just made a joke and that made him angry?
It sounds like Fisher didn't like a joke. All right, so this is the second page. This is a little bit shorter. So if you scroll up there, you can see what he posted.
It's all there, yeah.
The black with
the original one.
Yep. So we scroll down, and then it says, on the second page of the letter, Fisher wrote, despite Walter's best efforts, the Justice League investigation was able to expose the racist, coercive, discriminatory, and retaliatory behavior of Jeff Johns during his tenure with Warner Media affiliates. It has led to the more immediate parting of ways between Warner Media and Joss Whedon. So yeah, we've only seen, this is what Fisher has claimed that has led to, no one has actually made there's no confirmation of this. This is just Fisher's claim that the investigation did expose this. We haven't seen any evidence of it.
None.
So I just want to point that out. Fisher then continued, while it may be back up. While it may be legally and financially safer to quietly phase Jeff Johns out or to let Joss Whedon exit of his own accord, I share neither of those responsibilities. He goes on to say what his responsibilities are, and there's like two of them again. He says to try to protect those that were brave enough to lend their voice to the Justice League investigation, to use what little power I possess to ensure that the workplace behavior exhibited during the Justice League reshoots and its investigation never happens again. So when he's talking about Justice League reshoots, he's talking when Whedon came in and took over, not the new Snyder Cut stuff.
Not the Snyder Cut.
I just want to make that clear. So he says, no one in any profession should have to argue with their employer for their claims of abuse, racism, and discrimination to be taken up, proper chain of command, and no one in any position of, I think that should be leadership, should attempt to dissuade those wishing to report such claims from doing so. Walter's actions have transformed this narrative from an investigation of on-set misconduct in 2017 to the examination of the present-day cover-up culture of Hollywood. His contribution to Warner Brothers Pictures' September 4th statement to the Wrap was false, cowardly, and reckless. So he has a real issue with the statement from the Wrap. That's like where I think that's his biggest problem with Hamada. He then accuses Hamada of being unfit for leadership. I maintain that Walter Hamada is unfit for a position of leadership, and I am willing at any point to submit to a polygraph test to support my claims against him. I don't know how many instances of workplace abuse Walter has attempted to cover in the past, but hopefully the Justice League investigation will be the last. So he's going forth and insinuating that Hamada has covered up alleged past abuses.
Stuff, yeah.
And if the end of my time as Cyborg is the cost for helping to bring awareness and accountability to Walter Hamada's actions, I'll pay it gladly. So that's what he said. I don't really want to even comment on this because it's literally just he said and there's no evidence. So you just really have no idea who's telling the truth, who's not. And I guess if you are going to comment or you do want to pick a side, it's just who do you trust more? And I don't know any of these people.
Yeah, right.
So I don't trust either of them. So
I'm also okay with Cyborg being gone. Like, that character does nothing for me.
Cyborg should never have been in Justice League in the first place.
Should never have been.
I'll blame Zack Snyder for that. Cyborg is a Teen Titans character.
No, it's not Snyder. That was Johns. Because that's what happened from his New 52 Justice League. That's where Cyborg got put onto the Justice League.
No, well, Zack Snyder made that decision to include him into the Justice League movie, though. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that was marketing at the time. That was just who was on the team.
Yeah, but well, when you're making a movie, you're making I don't know. You don't copy the comics at the time. Usually, pick who the most prominent Justice League members were.
But probably with such a big push around like the New 52 and how much of an emphasis they put on it at the time is like this line-wide rebirth. Rebirth. I can see them, kind of making this sort of push, like company push to make everything try to align.
Birthing and pushing.
I guess. I don't know. I don't. Cyborg is not a Justice League.
Oh yeah, no, I don't like him. I don't want him there. I don't think he's a Justice Leaguer. That's just what I think happened.
That's possible. I mean, because Snyder has talked about how he had a big role for Cyborg, and he wanted to use him with the mother boxes and stuff.
I do see in the replies, though, to this post, a ton of support for Ray Fisher.
To his post, of course.
Yeah, to his post.
Oh, I'm sure.
His followers.
Over entertainment. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay.
Well, you have to remember he's also like. So yeah, I will comment on this. I mean, he's calling out Hollywood. So you're getting people who don't like Hollywood probably siding with him. But then he's also part of the. I think he's also part of this whole kind of
taking advantage of the woke culture movement.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think you're seeing that as well too.
Well, he's doing so in a stupid way because he doesn't bring any receipts. Like Boyega could do that because he was
there's a bunch of proof
quantifiably taken out of a lot of the advertising for Force Awakens in Chinese advertising,
right.
And then recently with like advertising for like I guess a clothing company,
Cologne, I think.
Yeah, Cologne.
No, yeah, some kind of fragrance company.
Yeah. So yeah, that guy can bring the receipts, but Fisher
in China they hired
anything.
They hired a localization guy to replace him for China. Is what happened.
I mean, as soon as Fisher brings up the receipts and brings on the witnesses,
something,
fine. I'm all for it. But
he seems to be really hesitant to do it. His claim being that he's protecting people because he said that a lot.
Kind of reminds me of that first statement, or not the statement, but when he was like, "Oh, I spoke with an interviewer or an investigator, but it wasn't who we agreed upon, and I told him I wouldn't speak to them because of all this different stuff." Like,
right.
until we start seeing things, I don't know how much of this is true or how much of it is him like pushing it off.
Right. It's not like we have tapes of Amber Heard saying that she's done stuff to Johnny Depp. We don't monetize these anyways. But...
Or photos of her poop in a bed.
Yeah, or him with his like finger chopped off.
Yeah.
So like there's actual evidence for that where we can hear her say stuff and see pictures that we've seen. So and there's like specific claims in like actual like lawsuits that you can like point to. With Fisher, it's just all stuff he's posted to social media. All right, so anything else to add on this? I don't really have anything else to add.
Sucks for Ray Fisher. He's missing out on Flashpoint, I guess, which would have been a big break. Or I guess Justice League was his big break, and we see how that's working out.
So what has he got lined up?
Nothing.
No, he has some indie film, I think, because THR was like reporting it like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, that's a judge.
Roof Korean, who has now changed his name. He's not Roof Korean 92 anymore. He's Roof Korean welcomes our new communist overlords. Says, think Ray Fisher became aware he was a diversity hire. I don't know if that's the case. I mean, Cyborg has always been black. That's the character. And Snyder hired him, and I think Snyder did have plans for Cyborg to play a bigger role in his Justice League. And we'll see what kind of role Cyborg does play. In that, we know there were scenes that he was gonna. There was a more emotional arc for that character where he was going to be dealing with his dad a lot more, and dealing with the mother boxes. So we'll see we'll see that in the Snyder Cut on HBO Max. So I'm not sure if I agree with that assertion there.
That's in March though, right?
The Snyder Cut, yeah.
Got a while.
All right, let's move to Star Wars because I think that's more interesting. Just wanted to get this out of the way.
Ooh, Star Wars.
Come on, you've been following it too.
Yeah, I know. But like Star Wars is like the biggest thing right now. And it's kind of annoying.
Right now? Where have you been?
Star Wars has always been big, dude. All right, so do you want to pull up? Let's pull up. What do we want to do? We want to do the Ahsoka rumor. Do we want to do the Civil War rumor? Do we want to do the Luke Skywalker series rumor? Where do you guys want to start? Chat, let us know. Tell us where we're going to start. Where should we start?
I definitely want, like, at some point, I'm excited to do the Luke story because I know you have thoughts on the Force.
Oh, well, I made did you watch my video today?
Yeah, of course.
I thought my ending was like...
You always go extended on live, and I love it. The director's cut.
Roof Green says, ready for John to start handing out black pills. Each news day that passes, I'm now convinced Mando Season 2, Episode 8 was more a fitting, honorable mercy killing funeral for Luke than a change at Lucasfilm. I mean, I'm not trying to hand out black pills. I'm not trying to hand out black pills. I'm just trying to be honest about like what I see and where the evidence is pointing to, and giving my opinion on that. I think that's. I mean, I try and back up what I say with the evidence. What I see that's happened in The Mandalorian. So I mean, I'm not trying to hand out black pills. I just don't think there's any change within the Lucasfilm culture, and I think that like Favreau is one man, and he's definitely signaled that he doesn't want to insult people in public, and I do think that there are certain people in Lucasfilm who are following that lead, but then you also have people like Hal Hickel and Pablo Hidalgo. And I mean, all these people in the publishing, like Justina Ireland and like Kavan Scott, I'll be fair with him. He actually seems quite respectable when it comes to dealing with fans and their questions and stuff like that. That still doesn't mean that he knows Star Wars. He's made a huge mistake about how a lightsaber works. You've been working on this High Republic project for 3 years. Your first comic comes out and you fail on how to use a lightsaber. That's like unacceptable. So, I mean, you're still seeing these huge issues like that, like crop up. Like, and you can say
it's not even like a small error where it's like, oh, it deflected a blaster bolt that technically it shouldn't, right? Like, oops, everybody can make that. It literally sticks a blade of light into a tree and stops. That's not how that works.
Even worse was like just 2 pages before, you see Skur literally chop a tree in half with his lightsaber. It literally splits it in half like vertically. And then you see the what's her name? Tanis or whatever her name is. I don't even remember the character's name, but she splits another tree horizontally with her lightsaber. So you just saw them like just go through really hard, solid objects with their lightsabers. Yes. Appropriate. I understood what I said there. It still makes sense. But then in that one, you just stopping on some like stone pillar, and you can't even like use the excuse that like, oh, it's like lightsaber resistant. Well, no, you see it like cutting through
the other one a second ago.
Stone. Well, not even that. Those were trees, but you see it cutting through the stone.
Right.
It's already cut through the stone, so it's not like Beskar armor that can like stop a lightsaber.
It's not like the Beskar in the rock.
Yeah.
Whatever his dumb. He increased the density of the lightsaber with the Force.
So I mean, and then the Skur is literally a Trandoshan.
Oh yeah,
lost an arm.
We can't regrow.
Like a Pablo Hidalgo's a villain book literally has like Bosk saying that Trandoshans can regenerate limbs.
I mean, they're just lizards, of course.
So
Echo Base, hey,
what's up,
Echo Base?
You're in the news lately.
Yeah, Mark Hamill is sharing their video. That was pretty cool.
That is really cool, dude.
I didn't watch the video. I haven't watched the video because I'm not one of the people who is emotionally reacting to Luke. I've been the opposite. So there's that. But even like the Luke Skywalker thing, he uses Force Crush on the robot, and that's like a dark side power. So, like again, that's a mistake. It's just as bad as Rey using Force Lightning. That's just as bad. Luke using Force Crush is just as bad as Rey using Force Lightning. So I can't remember in Return of the Jedi. I think he just uses Force Push in Return of the Jedi at Jabba's palace. Does he? I don't think he uses Choke or Crush or whatever.
I don't think he does either.
Do we see any of the?
He just gets dropped into the pit after he talks to Jabba, and then he gets dropped, and then he fights. He doesn't even like Force push the Rancor. He throws the skull.
Right, and then I was thinking in the battle at the on the I'm trying to think. Yes. I don't think he does that either. He does like the jumps and stuff.
He does jumps and then the super Jedi kick, and then no crushing or pushing really.
100% true. Yelling. You might find me yelling at like the idiocy like I'm doing right now. I don't know if I'm yelling though. I'm being emphatic. But I can't even think in the prequels. Do you see Obi-Wan or Qui-Gon ever use a Force Crush on the droids? I don't think I can't remember. Nothing comes to my mind. You see Anakin use it once he's in Revenge of the Sith.
Right, once he's
he's Vader.
Yeah. Luke does a Force choke on the pig guards in Return of the Jedi.
Dark Empire is not a canon book, Alexander, so I'm ignoring that because that's also Dark Empires. I've read some of that. They took like the worst ideas from that and put it in Rise of Skywalker, and it's still trash in Rise of Skywalker. I've talked about that. Bad Mojo said he chokes the Gamorrean guards.
Yeah,
so he does use
guards.
But at that point, he's still not a Jedi because remember he goes back to Yoda. And Yoda tells him, "You will only be a Jedi once you confront Vader again."
I think that's.
I guess you could make an argument there, and we do see him still kind of looks like he's falling to the dark side while he's fighting Vader, and then he realizes like, "I'm falling to the dark side, and I'm not going to do that." Tehillim says closest would be Mace Windu on Grievous. So, I can't remember does he? I'll have to rewatch that part on the Gamorrean guards. I'm trying to the Gamorrean guards.
Yeah, I just looked it up. They block him with their axes, and then he kind of goes like woof, woof, and then they go like ugh, and then they kind of like let him pass.
Okay, so Okay, so they actually grab their.
He goes,
Okay.
He like pulls the axe back and he's like, ugh.
Okay, so I guess that's not. I guess that's okay. But
I'm of the belief that you can tap into these abilities, but it's about how much and how often you use them. Like if they were running around using Force Crush, then clearly they are giving into the dark side more and more since it's a dark side power. But if you use it once or twice, it's not going to kill you.
I'm going to disagree with you there because what George Lucas said that I used in my video earlier today, there is the dark side, there is the light side, and once you start going down the dark side path, you can't really come back.
Okay, but then what about Anakin at the very end of Return of the Jedi?
You didn't let me finish. But obviously, you can be redeemed, and you can reject the dark side as well. But he does say that like usually once you start down that path, you don't leave it. But obviously Luke's sacrifice is able to redeem Anakin. Realizes that he needs to reject those ways, and he does at the end. He rejects the dark side, and he's somehow is able to become one with the Force. Yeah, Bad Mojo, we already said that. You're a little bit behind there, but thank you for pointing that out. All caps really helps there. Roof Green says Yoda was trying to steer Luke to deal with Vader. I think Yoda meant being a Jedi Master will be useless if he does not bring balance to the Force first. Mark Lissette says, are the powers dark or light? I thought it was how you use them. No, there's definitely dark side powers. Force lightning is a definite dark side power. That's why it's anathema that Rey uses it in The Rise of Skywalker. The only reason why they try and say that she uses it is because she's like the son of a Palpatine clone. And Mark says, but Luke was wearing black at the time. Yeah, I think that's the argument that you can make. He's not a Jedi at that point.
Since when does the color of your fashion determine your alignment?
No, I wasn't. I was just pointing out what he said.
Okay.
I do think that there is something to be said that usually people who wear black are usually Sith, and if you don't wear black, you're not. Because Anakin wears black.
But then I would genuinely point to Luke Skywalker.
No, when they're going towards like the path of the dark side.
I know, and I would still point to Luke Skywalker.
Right, and that you're proving their argument though.
That
he is hugely tempted by the dark side and almost falls to it.
But he doesn't. He's still a Jedi. Everybody has their brush-ins with it. I mean, if you want to get technical, he doesn't get the full title until Yoda dies.
No, until he faces Vader.
Until he defeats Vader.
Yeah, Yoda dies after he tells him that. He tells him you become a Jedi after you face Vader. That's what he says.
I personally have no problem with tapping into powers from the other sides.
Neither did the Eternal one.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the big problems with Yoda destroying the temple. He uses Force lightning.
That's a whole other set of dumb, but
yeah, I mean Vidakovich even says the games say choke, life drain, Force lightning, or dark side.
Mm-hmm.
I don't consider the games are obviously that they have a you have to have gameplay, so there's differences there. Yeah, Roof Green is saying Rey uses Force lightning and Ghost Yoda can yeet trees out of existence. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
you're saying there's an inconsistency in storytelling.
Yeah, with that for sure. I do think that there are dark side powers, though. I mean, they make that clear. I mean, even on their website, it says that Force lightning is a dark side power. I believe it says Force choke is a dark side power as well. I think Force crush is too. I don't know if they have it on the actual Star Wars website. I know they have Force lightning on the Star Wars website. Yeah, it looks like only the wiki has it. Yeah, Force Crush was possibly the darkest Force ability. This is from. Oh, this isn't even Wikipedia. What is this? Star Wars Fanon. Well, I don't even know what that is.
The
never
unofficial
heard of that.
unofficial.
Yeah, it's like some other wiki or wiki.
Wookiee wiki.
It doesn't look like Wikipedia has it. Okay, here it is. Force Crush. It looks like it's just that just looks like a back end. People are discussing it. I don't see an actual page for it. But yeah, it's typically a dark side power. So there's that. And you obviously saw Grogu doing it too, even though he's like trained by multiple Jedi Masters or whatever.
Sith Masters.
Yeah,
Still hold
Darth Jar Jar.
Darth Jar Jar. That's the only way to redeem that character.
Bad Mojo is trying to say that because they're robots, it doesn't matter. He's still using the dark side. Like if you're saying that it's a dark side power, he's still tapping into the dark side to crush robots. Just pointing that out. Which I think also then, I think that does lend, if he is using those powers, that lends to the fact that he becomes this guy in The Last Jedi who's cut himself off from the Force because he's afraid. And what do we know? Fear leads to the dark side. So there's that. Mark says Ahsoka wears black too. When does she wear black?
In the episode that.
She does.
Yeah,
she does.
She
wear
wears a black cloak
okay.
as she's assaulting the troopers.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I've seen people make that argument about the black clothes. I'm not sure that's entirely accurate. I feel like Jedi just wear regular brown, solid colors all the time for the most part.
I just think costuming department director is like, yeah, black look cool.
Yeah.
More black.
So as far as the Luke Skywalker rumor, I did a whole video on it earlier today, but let's kind of just get into that. Can you pull that up real quick, Spencer? You're there. Sweet. All right, so let's just scroll down and get to the part where I quote Doomcock. So there we go. So the rumor comes from Doomcock. He says, "I'm informed that there will be a show centered around Luke Skywalker himself. In this series, Luke will be starting a new Jedi Order assisted by Anakin Skywalker, who will demonstrate a new approach to the Force. Anakin will obviously be in Force Ghost form." He talked about that. I think he talks about that earlier in the video. A way to balance the light side and the dark side. In this way, understanding that the Force is not good or evil innately, Anakin fulfills the prophecy of being the one to bring balance to the Force. And working with his son Luke, they bring about a new era for the Jedi. And then he says, this show will also contribute to erasing the sequel trilogy, for in this series, Ben Solo will not follow the dark side of the Force, and Kylo Ren will thereby be erased from the Star Wars universe. And then reportedly the series will... Oh, yeah. Hold on. Go back up real quick. And presumably this also gets rid of the idiotic death of Han Solo. Reportedly the series will last more than one season, though I have no information if Luke will still be a deepfake or if they will recast the role of Luke. So I have huge issues with this rumor if it's true.
So do I.
Yeah, so scroll up. Well, let's have you go off on it then, Don.
Okay.
Can you scroll up a little bit, Spencer?
So they're thinking about Anakin joining this thing in the form of, I'm assuming, Hayden Christensen. Yes,
I would assume so, given the fact that he's coming back for Obi-Wan.
So he's coming back for Obi-Wan as Potato Head, which I haven't heard any other person talking about that Potato Head rumor other than us.
Potato Head with his mask off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Doomcock also did a story on that, saying that it's just flashbacks. Can you scroll up? Sensor. Yeah, there you go. Right there is good. Nope, down right there. No, so Doomcock talks about that in a video. He says that it's going to be flashbacks and like dream sequences. So like Obi-Wan seeing him in his dreams. And he relives the fight, and then they fight again, kind of similar to what Luke experiences in Empire Strikes Back on Dagobah, and Obi-Wan is kind of being tormented with his failure of Anakin, and
or what Wolverine experiences in whichever one it is with Jean Grey, where like he keeps seeing Jean Grey like in his bed and stuff.
The horrible.
Is that Origins? Or no, that's Last Stand. You're right. That's Last Stand.
Yeah.
Interesting. So it sounds like me and Doomcock have some different sources. Okay, that's cool. That's my
So you want to elaborate on that, or?
So the source that I've talked to, a source close to bounding into comics, has related that the Obi-Wan series will feature Potato Head Hayden Christensen. They need Hayden Christensen to show his face because, you know, that's how fans will be able to recognize him. But it will lead into that epic second match that Kathleen Kennedy had talked about in that Disney whatever presentation
they'll actually physically meet.
They'll actually physically meet, which is going to destroy canon and piss off a lot of fans. The thing that Doomcock is talking about is not what we heard.
Nope, that's different. Okay,
that's very different. So that's very interesting.
The thing you're talking about, that was what I took away when she said that they were going to physically meet, the rematch of the century. Like that means they're physically meeting again after Revenge of the Sith and before they meet on the Death Star in the first Star Wars. And I've already gone off on that in a video, and it's absolutely stupid and idiotic, and might be one of the dumbest things I've ever heard, aside from this stupid thing here with the Force.
So yeah. It'll be interesting to see whose source was more accurate.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're having a rematch of the century, and they're literally saying that, do you think that there's anything changing at Lucasfilm? No. I mean, it's just as bad as Yoda summoning a Force storm. It's just as bad as Luke claiming he can cut himself off from the Force. That's been described as something that like flows through you.
The universe.
Yeah, and then even in freaking the prequels, if you want to buy into the midichlorians, it's literally inside you. It's like it's a microscopic organism that's inside you. What did Luke do? He somehow like did some kind of blood.
He gets forced chemotherapy to kill his midichlorians.
Yeah. Like it's so stupid. It's so stupid. I know people liked seeing Luke go and kill those droids, but like, that's it. That's all that was like really exciting about the Mandalorian. Like we didn't even the crate dragon. They didn't even get a show. They didn't even show us what the crate dragon looked like. They had to explain it on Twitter. They're like, oh, it has legs.
Until they blew up. Yeah.
Well, why didn't you show it having legs? So. There's a lot of issues. Like, yeah.
I like the crate dragon design, but that's whatever.
No, the crate dragon would have been cool if they just showed it having legs. The fight, like the actual like design would have been
slug.
Cool. It's a freaking sandworm.
Yeah, they ripped off. They ripped off the stupid.
They ripped off Dune because they knew Dune was coming out just in a month right before. That's exactly why it doesn't have any legs. I'm convinced of that. Because of Dune. They're like, we got to the sandworm first. These companies do this, though. I mean, watch the Netflix toy shows, man. The Barbie one, the Mattel, like, is Barbie Mattel? I think Barbie's Mattel, right?
Yeah, Barbie's Mattel.
The Mattel one, they like literally are talking about how like the Barbie people got word of like what was going on with their competitor, the I forget what it is, and they were like, oh, we got to do that first, and they beat them to it. Like they talk about that, or like we got to do the same thing. DC Comics and Marvel Comics copy each other all the time. They're doing the same stuff like all the time. I feel like with their event comics, it's like, dude, I just read this in DC. Why am I reading this in Marvel? Like, give me something different. But they also hire the same people too, so that's not surprising there. So like, I 100% think that's why they knew Dune was coming out. Dune was going to have sandworms, and they wanted their sandworm first. And that's why it doesn't have legs, despite whatever they want to say. They're like, oh, the original model had legs. Well, why didn't you use the original model? Like, where is the original model?
Where is it then? Yeah.
So it'll be out in some book 3 years from now because they created a new one. So
They'll show it in Fortnite in another event.
Yeah. Yeah. But so, Don, you had issues with, we kind of got sidetracked. You have issues with this Luke Skywalker rumor. What are your issues?
The premise is it's probably coming from the same source that's telling them about the Anakin Skywalker one or Obi-Wan. You know?
So you have a problem with that source?
I have a problem with the source.
Oh, so you just have a problem that it's from Doomcock, or his source, or
his source. His source seems to be painting it with rose-colored glasses.
100%.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
No, my source is not painting the rose-colored glasses, unfortunately.
For Luke Skywalker.
For Luke Skywalker, or for Anakin Skywalker, or for any of these shows.
What is your... Oh, good. I'm not your source. I am not Don's source. I'm not Don's source.
Yeah. Having said that, I want to see some cool stuff. I actually like some cool stuff that happened in The Mandalorian. There's cool stuff in it, but I like it the same way that I like Bleach. It doesn't make sense, but there's some cool scenes in it, and it was just written just so those cool scenes could happen.
Like Batman v Superman.
When the robot beat up. I actually like my favorite, like I know people were freaking out about Luke, but my favorite scene in that last episode of Mandalorian was when he gets his butt kicked by the droids. And I was like, oh, these things are actually like a threat.
Him in the face and slamming him into the wall.
Yeah, I was like, oh my, we finally have something that can like
stakes
do some damage here. There's some like, and it's not like it's not him being an idiot charging into a rhino den and like just putting himself in there. Like this thing is actually like better than him, and I actually like that. And then obviously he beats up he beats up Gideon. But then I also think, I'm not sure if I don't know. I think that he actually does beat Gideon because Gideon does try and like ambush him, but then it shows that Gideon's an idiot because he literally has his back turned. He knows he's wearing Beskar armor, and he hits him right in the Beskar with the sword. It's like, what are you doing? Like, this guy's supposed to be like super smart. Like, again, issue with Mandalorian characters being portrayed as one thing, doing something different. So what is your source been telling you about Luke Skywalker?
My source has been telling me that can I say it? They haven't been telling me anything about Luke Skywalker.
Oh, I thought you just said that
no plans for Luke Skywalker.
Okay.
That's what
so it was a one and done
whatsoever. They just did this as a one-off just to do it. Just because they knew that it was in this in that timeline.
Okay.
And it was most appropriate to hey, there's cool stuff in it. Let's put this cool thing in it.
The only thing I would push back on that is literally, I think besides the Luke Skywalker thing, the best thing Mando had going for it was Baby Yoda. Yep. At least, especially in season 1, is they send Baby Yoda or Grogu, whatever his name is, Grogu, off to
Luke land.
Off to Luke. So that to me implies that they have at least some kind of plan.
Unless they just randomly have Grogu hijack a ship and fly to the Mandalorian, which at this point they probably are considering. But I'm sure we'll see him again.
For me, getting rid of Grogu, I think I will also say that this could also back up what you're saying, Don, is that getting rid of Grogu frees the Mando from the whole stupid quest that he's been on since the first season, and now he can actually do real stuff that he should have been doing in the first place. Right. That the show should have been about in the first place, rather than being a babysitter, because that's literally what he's been doing for 2 seasons. tracking him down, rescuing him, tracking him, and keeping him safe, losing him, tracking him and down, rescuing him. They did it twice. They did it in the first season. They did it in the second season. YouTube Me says Baby Yoda in season 1 was excellent. However, it's from comparing it next to the sequel trilogy. Dude, season 1 has the fob, so
I think he's just talking about the character.
Yeah, I will say the character was a lot better when he's just. Well, even then, I don't even. They try to play it like he was an infant.
That development that he was like the closer to Yoda's age and was at the temple during Order 66. That all came in season 2.
Season 2, right? But they still like. So I'm thinking of just like he uses the Force on the Rhino. He Force heals Grief Karga. He like knows all of the. He knows how to like use these abilities.
Yeah, like but like in the first season, before you knew that he was trained or anything, or even knew what he was doing, it was cool in the mystery sense that like this creature can just do it and doesn't know that it's doing it. And then it gets ruined once you learn that, oh yeah, he's been taught by all the great masters.
And
I don't know. I felt like he knew what he was doing.
Trilogy.
I don't like to me it was like the thing where you see in a lot of media, like when somebody's like, I need to run away, I'm so scared, and then they, their X gene activates and they get super speed. Like that's kind of what I saw it from Baby Yoda. Rhino's coming at him, he instinctually is just like, stop, don't come near us, and then
for that one, yes,
force activates.
Right, for that, yes, that example, yes, but for force healing, no.
Oh no, not
not
force
instinctual.
Healing,
that was like
force
him
healing, no.
doing
and then
that.
it goes way further downhill.
Because they showed that before when he was trying to heal Mando and he doesn't. Like they hint that, they foreshadow that, and then he force heals Grief Karga like in that second to last episode, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
So that, again, you could say that's an inconsistency in his character, but yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Yes, in the Rhino scene, it was instinctual.
Yeah, he is inconsistent. The character,
but then he's force healing you in the next, which is like obviously would require significant training. And if we are to believe what they've described as force healing, which there's different reasons for it too. It's like it can only be done by dyad people, and then if you do it, you're like transferring your own life essence into it. But Grogu doesn't seem to be affected by any kind of life essence stuff. They show him using the Force, and it like wears him out. And then other times, is that even consistent? I'm trying to think. Is there a time where it uses the Force and he doesn't get worn out?
Like cookies.
Yes, he uses the Force to steal the cookies, and he's not worn out by it. So there's that too.
Yeah.
So, and then
I think a couple other times when, like near the end, when he's playing with the shifter, he starts not needing to.
He uses to get the ball. Yeah. To get the ball. Yeah. So there's that. It's like, but yeah. So even then, like even in season 1, he was still an inconsistent character, and I don't know.
This is also the low bar, comparing to the low bar that is the sequel trilogy.
Yes, and I do understand why people like it, because it's not, and I've said this before, I think people like it because it's not in your face, like insulting you with Admiral Holdo lecturing Poe about some idiotic, stupid thing. You're not having like dumb, like hyperspace suicide attacks, kamikaze attacks. You're not having Luke cut himself off from the Force. You're not. I mean, prank phone calls. That's my thing. I
know that was so dumb.
That was egregious.
Okay, so
really bad.
I feel like I'm the only one who really talks about that, though. I don't see anyone else talk about that.
I think it might be because it's just one of those things that everybody collectively realized was awful, and we just it's like we don't speak of it anymore. Yeah,
like that was like the point in the movie where I was like, "This is trash," and that was like the first 5 minutes.
20 seconds in. Yeah. 20 seconds in,
and I was just like, "Holy crap, this is so bad! Like, what is going on here?" You just literally had opening crawl. Like I've talked about this enough, so you guys know how I feel about that. I hate that. That scene triggers me so hard. Like I hate that scene so much. And then I was even like, I was going through The Last Jedi just to get some screen caps for like videos and articles. And I think I talked about this last stream, but there's literally a scene when he gets the information from the hacker guy. I don't even know his name because he's so forgettable.
Benicio del Toro.
Yeah, the actor. Yeah, Del Toro's character. Whatever his character's name is. I don't even know what his character's name is.
Actor, yeah.
And Hux is like, shoot him down now. Shoot him down now. He like literally says it right away. Shoot him down now. And then he's like, execute Finn and Rose like right away. It's like, dude, why were you taking a prank phone call earlier in the movie when you're just like executing these people right away? Oh, that's because you can't kill Finn off, or you can't kill Poe off right now because you have to get him. He has got to get lectured by Admiral Pinkhair or whatever later on in the movie. Just for a political statement, because that's all that was. And you have to make him look like an idiot. Well, have Hux look like an idiot, even though you have an opening scrawl saying that he's decimated your entire resistance. So there's that. So I do want to get back to this Luke Skywalker rumor. We kind of got a little bit sidetracked. I was getting sidetracked. That's on me.
Don sidetracked with his source.
So I talked about this in my video, which if you scroll up, it's right underneath the first. Don't scroll up though. Like yeah, it's right there. I probably should pick a better. I don't know. I thought that was. I don't know. I don't know. It's because I thought that was just. I really like that because that's at the moment where Luke is kind of calling out to Vader, and he's still like he's being physically attacked, but. And you can see the pain that he's in physically, but he's at peace with himself internally. And I think that's just so key in how Lucas describes the Force. When we'll get to that in a little bit. So if you scroll down here, I want to read the part that I like really just don't like. Go back. Go up right there. Nope, it's right underneath Doomcock Studio, right there. That's good.
Boom, perfect. Leaving it alone.
So he says, in this series, Luke will be starting a new Jedi Order assisted by Anakin Skywalker, who will demonstrate a new approach to the Force. A way to balance the light side and the dark side.
No.
In this way, understanding that the Force is not good or evil innately, Anakin fulfills the prophecy of being one to bring balance to the Force, and working with his son Luke, they bring about a new era for the Jedi. So if this is what Disney is doing, this is worse to me than what they did to Luke Skywalker. It's worse than what they did to Han Solo. This is worse than The Last Jedi. This is absolutely horrible because you're fundamentally destroying the Force, which is your fundament, like what creates life in Star Wars. Like the Force is your essential element in Star Wars. And there is a dark side and there is a light side. George Lucas has talked about it. They've shown it in the videos. And I will say The Last Jedi got this right when Luke is training Rey. This is one of the things The Last Jedi did get right. He tells her, you went straight to the dark.
Yeah. He does.
There is a dark, like he says, that's in The Last Jedi. Like as much as The Last Jedi is terrible, he got that right. There is also Yoda. Yoda says in Empire Strikes Back when Luke is going, when he's on Dagobah and he goes to fight right before he goes to Bespin, he sees the vision of Vader
in the tree.
Yeah.
In the tree, Yoda, I don't remember exactly what he says, but he's like, that's powerful with the dark side of the Force. Like it's clear that there is a dark side and a light side of the Force, that there is an evil and there is a good.
It's not like Key from Dragon Ball, man.
No. There's two sides of the Force. There's a dark side and then there is a light side. Those exist. We've seen them in the movies. And Lucas talks about them. So let's scroll down here real quick. And he makes it really clear. And this is at the Clone Wars meeting. This is a Clone Wars writing meeting. So this is for
established.
This is for the animated show. This is after we've already gotten the prequels. This is after, it's obviously after the original trilogy. He knows what he's talking. Like he's known what he's been talking about for a while. Like he literally had Anakin's backstory written in the early 80s. Like he knew all of this stuff. Mark is saying I'm getting yours. Yeah, I'm passionate about this. Like like I this is so fundamental to Star Wars, and they're like going to destroy it. And I want to impress on people that this idea that they're going to erase the sequel trilogy, if this is part of how they're going to erase the sequel trilogy, this is sequel trilogy philosophy. This is sequel trilogy thinking. Kill the past. They're trying to kill how the Force has been shown in the past. That's what they're trying to do here. This is George Lucas saying this. The video is there. I transcribed it, so there might be some spelling errors. I'm not going to say it as good as he as well as he says it. So I do encourage you to watch that video in this article. But he says the core of the Force. I mean, you got the dark side and the light side right there. Dark side and the light side. He's already saying that there's two sides of the Force. One is selfless, one is selfish, and you want to keep them in balance. And so he'll explain how what that balance is. What happens when you go to the dark side is it goes out of balance. So going to the dark side puts the Force out of balance. It's not like, you need to find some middle ground between the light side and the dark side. No, it's the dark side. Going to the dark side puts you and the Force out of balance. That is what he's saying right there. And you get really selfish and you forget about everybody. Ultimately, you lead yourself, because when you get selfish, you get stuff, or you want stuff. And when you want stuff, you get stuff. Then you're afraid somebody is going to take it away from you, whether it's a person or a thing or a particular pleasure and experience. So can you keep scrolling? Coder is a video game. I don't consider it's a video game. Once you become afraid that somebody is going to take it away from you or you're going to lose it, then you start to become angry, especially if you are losing it. And the anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering. That's what Yoda says to Anakin. I think it's to Anakin in I think it's Revenge of the Sith. Mostly on the part of the person who's selfish, yet because you've spent all your time being afraid of losing everything you've got instead of actually living your life. So he then contrasts that with the light side, where joy, by giving to other people, you can't think about yourself, and therefore there is no pain. He then returns to the dark side saying, but the pleasure factor of greed and of selfishness is a short-lived experience. Therefore, you are constantly trying to replenish it. But of course, the more you replenish it, the harder it is. So you have to keep upping the ante. You are actually afraid of the pain of not having the joy. So that is ultimately the core of the whole dark side, light side of the Force, and everything flows from that. So he gives an example. Scroll down.
Yeah. I was just getting my mouse. Boom.
So he talks about the Sith. Obviously, the Sith are always unhappy. So this is really interesting. The Sith are obviously have fallen to the dark side, but they're not the only dark side. We saw that in the Clone Wars. You have Mother Talzin and the Night Sisters. There's obviously other dark side users out there. You don't have to be a Sith to be a dark side. But he says, obviously the Sith are always unhappy because they never get enough of anything they want. Mostly their selfishness centers around power and control, and the struggle is to always let go of all of that stuff. So he's saying, in order for you to reject the Sith, you have to reject the selfish desire to want power and control.
Right.
And so now he gives an example of how fantastic example of how Anakin falls to the dark side. And in the video, they literally cut in clips from the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy. So he says, and of course, that's the problem with Anakin, ultimately, is that you are allowed to love people, but you are not allowed to possess them. And what he did was that he fell in love and married her, and then became jealous, and then he saw in his visions that she was going to die, and he couldn't stand losing her. I do think that when he says that he became jealous, I feel like that probably should have been done a little bit better. I'm not sure how much that was actually came across in the films. I don't know about the jealousy, but everything else. The jealous.
I mean, there's that scene. There's a scene where he accuses Obi-Wan, but I think that's more the possessive thing than a jealous thing.
Right. To me, he might have been
and he's also losing his mind.
Well, because he's
right. He's following
the visions. And sorry.
Yeah.
So the jealousy to me might have been that she's always doing stuff with the Senate, maybe, but it didn't. That's the only thing I can think of, and I don't feel like that came across. But like, yeah, the point that you talk about with Obi-Wan, maybe there, but he was already trying to control her at that point,
right? Yeah.
So that maybe he obviously might have wanted to put something in there that it didn't come across very well. I will say that, but 100% everything else came across very clear. So in order to not lose her, he made a pact with the devil. Like that's what he's describing the Emperor.
Yeah.
To be able to become all powerful. But of course, when he did that, she didn't want to have anything to do with him anymore. So he lost her. It's kind of how it works.
Yeah.
So, once you are powerful, being able to bring her back from the dead, and then he goes into like he's like pretending he's Anakin. Well, if I can do that, then I can become Emperor of the universe. I can get rid of the Emperor. I can do everything. I can make everything the way I want it. So like he's talking about how Anakin's mental state is progressing after like how he's thinking. He's thinking like I'm going to become all powerful. I can save her, and then like I can't. I'm not only just going to save her. We're going to like rule the galaxy together, remake it in our image. He says all this to her. Like that's in the movie.
Yeah.
And once you do that, you'll never be satiated. Yeah, he's power drunk. Yeah, you're always going to be consumed by this driving desire to have more stuff. Because he talks about like he wants to be the ruler of the galaxy. He says that he wants to be the ruler of the galaxy, and even the Emperor. Like we see that in how he operates. He's always trying to expand his empire with more control. That's why he creates the Death Star so he can enact more control over the galaxy. He removes he gets rid of the Senate. He puts the regional governors in charge, and he's going to use the Death Star to like have control. He wants more control. So you even have that there. They don't mention that in the video, but I think that's very apparent too. And then he says, and be afraid that others are going to take it away from you, because every time you get two Sith together, you have the master, you have the apprentice, and the apprentice is always trying to recruit another apprentice to join with him to kill the master. So we see that with Vader trying to get Luke. They heavily explore that in the Clone Wars. You obviously have Dooku recruiting Ventress. I think Ventress recruit Savage. Obviously,
I think so. Yeah.
Maul recruits Savage. So you have like all these like dark side users going after each other. Then you have like Talzin fight like the Talzins trying to like go after the Emperor as well. So yes, you see that. They explore that really well in the Clone Wars, which is what this meeting was about. So he's pointing to that's what. And the Master knows that everybody below him wants his job. Yes, that's why the Emperor literally senses Maul rising in the dark side of the Force, goes to Mandalore, kills Savage Opress, disarms Maul, who was using the Darksaber at the time, because like who must be the real possessor of the Darksaber? Because we're just ripping off Harry Potter now with the wand, the Elder Wand.
Yeah, the Elder Wand. 100%.
And if that's how they're going to explain it, if that's how they're doing it, we'll see. But yeah, so you see that he goes and like kills off these people, and then obviously in the Son of Dathomir comic book that Dark Horse published was pretty good. He then like sees Maul rising again with Mother Talzin. They go and they kill her off, and then Maul escapes though. But yeah, you see him like taking out these like dark side people who are rising in the Force. So if you keep going.
Yoda.
He then reveals how to overcome the dark side. The only way to overcome the dark side is through discipline. So I'm not obviously I think that there's also another way to overcome it. I think there's like, we see that with Vader, someone self-sacrificing themselves can lead one to realize the corruption of the dark side and that you need to reject it. So I do think that
could one argue that that it is a sort of discipline because he could have done that in a sense too. I'll overthrow Vader right now and kill, or not Vader. I'll overthrow Palpatine right now and kill Luke, and it'll all be mine. But he chose actively to not to do it how we saw it, to save Luke and redeem himself.
Yes,
not to redeem himself, but just to save Luke.
Yes, and I thought you were going to go a different way. I think also in the same vein, though, he also has the discipline to. He sees Luke making that self-sacrifice. He has the discipline to finally say no to his selfish desires right then and there. And he makes that decision as well to reject those selfish desires and kind of move forward from there. So yes, Chris Neville right here, inner conflict. Exactly. We see that in Return of the Jedi, because when Luke is getting physically attacked by the Emperor with the lightning attacks, they show Vader that you see the internal conflict in Vader happening at that moment.
Hear it.
Say that again.
And in the remastered version, you hear it.
Oh, you do? Okay, yes. As well. Okay, so you hear an internal conflict as well. Okay. I don't think that's the one on Disney Plus. They don't have that. Okay, good. Okay, good. Because I'm like, I don't remember. I just watched that. I literally watched that scene because that's where I pulled the clips from. Right. That's where I pulled the featured image from. I just watched that. I don't remember them saying that in there.
You don't remember Vader going, no, 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 and then
he doesn't do the build-up. It's just the one.
Oh, okay.
But you see it in his face. You see the internal conflict there, and I guess they did. I guess because he wanted to emphasize that. But I don't even think you need to do that because it's clear that there's that internal conflict happening, and he rejects the selfishness that had taken over his life. He sees the self-sacrifice of Luke. He sees what being selfless is all about. I think he sees the physical pain of Luke, but he sees that he's at peace too. With that, he because Luke literally throws his lightsaber. He knows what's going to happen. Like Luke knows that. Yeah, he knows that he's going to die at that point. He throws his lightsaber away. He takes that pain, physical pain, but he's at peace. Luke is at peace internally there. Like we see that, especially afterwards when he's actually talking to Vader. He has that like internal peace. And you see that even when he's going up to the Emperor, he has built this internal peace within him. Obviously, he loses control of it when Vader threatens Leia. But then Luke shows his discipline to reject that selfishness desire where he was trying to possess Leia as well. In that, I think the argument there can be made. Like he was feeling a selfish desire to protect Leia in that moment, and he kind of takes that over. So you can make that. I think you can make that argument. So Lucas continues, the dark side is pleasure, biological and temporary, and easy to achieve. The light side is joy, everlasting, and difficult to achieve. Obviously, two different things there. He's talking about two different things again. That mean two different things. And then he says the light side is a great challenge. Must overcome laziness, give up quick pleasures, and overcome fear, which leads to hate. So I think he makes it very clear that there is a light side and a dark side, and that they're two different things. And that in order to defeat the dark side and bring balance to the Force, you have to have self-discipline. I think that's very clear on how he describes what the Force is there. And if you think this is something he just made up during this Clone Wars meeting, so in 2002, he spoke to the Los Angeles Times, and he basically said the same thing, just in a different way. And he says, I wanted to have this mythological footing because I was basing the films on the idea that the Force has two sides, the good side, the evil side, and they both need to be there. He added, most religions are built on that, whether it's called yin and yang, God and the devil. Everything is built on the push-pull tension created by two sides of the equations right from the very beginning. That was the key issue in Star Wars. Said it right there again, a lot shorter, but he's saying the same thing that he elaborated much more in the above video. So this is that's what I'm saying. This is destroying the Force if they're going to get rid of the two sides of the Force, which George Lucas has made very clear exist not only in what he said outside of the movies, but what we've seen in the movies.
Yeah, it's a bad move. It just destroys the entire thing.
But
it's the same thing that we heard. Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's why you should not be getting your hopes up that they're going to be erasing the sequel trilogy. If this is the rumored plan for what they're going to be doing moving forward with Luke Skywalker.
This is save Luke Skywalker, by the way.
Just as bad. Yeah, supposedly redeem Luke, redeem Star Wars, erase the sequel trilogy. This is the same philosophy of the sequel trilogy. That's exactly kill the past. What does Kylo say?
Let the past die.
Kill it. Kill it if you have to. That is the philosophy of Lucasfilm, and it's very that is their philosophy. We see it time and time again. And if this rumor, which I don't know if it's legit or not, but that seems to be that to me, that's what I took away from this rumor is that philosophy of Lucasfilm is still alive and well. And I would not try and I'm not hopeful for this rumor because I think it confirms that Lucasfilm is still the Lucasfilm of the sequel trilogy and nothing has changed there. And if you think anything has changed, I don't know why you would even think that just because we saw Luke Skywalker killing a bunch of robots and the Mandalorian's not in your face with identity politics, but just look at Hollywood. I mean, that's all it is. That's all these people do and say. That it's all they live it.
Look at the High Republic.
The High Republic, another perfect example. So I don't expect anything better than the Mandalorian. I don't expect anything better than it. I guess I'm kind of surprised.
I'll remain of the opinion that it's a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, it's
rather than a new expectation.
And it's not that good. It's average. It's media. I would argue it's mediocre sci-fi. There's much better sci-fi out there. There's the SG-1 is far superior. Dark Matter, far superior.
TNG for any Star Trek fans out there. Even standalone, you don't even need to know Star Trek.
Deep Space Nine.
DS9.
There's a lot of better stuff. There's a lot better stuff out there than Mandalorian. There was actually sci-fi has a show called Continuum that's really good.
I heard The Expanse is really great. I think you've talked about it before.
The Expanse first season is super good. And then I thought they were gonna get some exploration kind of stuff. And season 4 was okay. There was there were some good episodes, really good episodes, but it wasn't amazing. And I haven't watched any of the new season just because it's got adult content. And I'm not really watching a lot of adult content. I'm actually disappointed with Cobra. We're gonna transition here. I think this is a perfect transitioning point. Cobra. I'm actually a little bit disappointed. I've been watching some season 2 of Cobra Kai or season 3 of Cobra Kai, and if I remember correctly, the first 2 seasons didn't have a lot of language in it, and season 3 was dropping lots of mature language, which obviously I'd normally be fine with that, but I don't want my daughter being exposed to that so young. So I have so I was a little
caught you off guard.
It was a little disappointing. And Cobra Kai, the first season, it's great. Second season jumps the shark in the last episode. And then kind of leading up to it, it gets very soap opera-y. But the third season it's okay. It's still very soap opera-y, though. But the first season is really good. So I'll let you take the lead on this one, Spencer.
Yeah, so Cobra Kai, as John's talking about, everybody loves it. Netflix... Now it's Netflix's show. It started as YouTube show, but unsurprisingly, it's come under fire because it stars white leads, specifically Ralph Macchio and Billy Zabka. So the criticism comes from the Los Angeles Times, who published this really, what starts out as this really cool retrospective sort of rundown of the show, explores its history, interviews some of the cast about, how does it feel to be back? What's the experience like? So gives some really good insight in the beginning, and it's really interesting. And then you get to the core of it, the meat of it, and it's the LA Times start complaining about the fact that this show stars white men, and specifically the fact that it doesn't have an Asian lead. So yeah, we have here the author Jen Yamato of the Los Angeles Times turned her attention to the fact that there are now 3 white men at the center of Cobra Kai, a franchise rooted in and deeply indebted to Eastern tradition, and how after 30 episodes on 2 platforms, Cobra Kai has yet to cast an Asian lead. So it's this is almost along the lines of the Shang-Chi controversy that we got when they announced Shang-Chi.
The
Shang-Chi.
Never gonna let that down. Never let that die.
Never. That's how we're saying it from here on out.
Thanks, Kevin Feige.
But it's the same.
One of the main characters from the first season was an Asian, and he was like the bully.
I don't know. I haven't seen it yet.
So the first season, Ralph Macchio's daughter is dating like this football player, and he bullies the Hispanic lead, this character named Miguel, who goes to Cobra Kai, who like teams up with Johnny, who then like restarts Cobra Kai and begins training him in karate so he can defend himself from the guy who's bullying the football player. Like he's like one of the main characters in the first season. Like that's the whole purpose of restarting Cobra. He's like one of the main reasons of restarting Cobra Kai.
So apparently they ignored that because the, I guess, main characters being Ralph Macchio and Billy Zabka, Daniel and Johnny, obviously, they are white. And so is, what's his name? The guy who came back, the owner of the other dojo. Gosh, yes. I have his name. He's in here somewhere.
Kreese.
This guy.
Kreese.
Yeah,
John
Kreese.
Kreese.
Yeah, John Kreese. So basically, she starts
which
quoting,
were all in the 80s. They were in the
right.
first movie.
They're all the characters. They didn't recast anybody. They didn't make, this isn't a new property. It's all just characters from something that we've already seen. So the author goes on to cite a bunch of other people who support her point, like this person or this co-author of UCLA's annual Hollywood Diversity Report, Ana Cristiana Ramon. Except for the Latino character of Miguel, all the other people of color are outside of that main cast. So it actually doesn't show as a diverse show in a sense. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then, this podcaster, she quotes, says, to see them do it is to go beyond this ideal, or what he wants to see is to see them, what he wishes to see them do is to go beyond the suburban idyllic space, this white pocket dimension, more deeply. What if they actually did encounter people who embraced martial arts, not just to overcome bullying, but because it's part of a larger tradition that exists within people of color communities? So they basically just, it is kind of racist in itself. They're basically saying a martial arts show has to have an Asian lead, and it has to focus specifically on how it affects those cultures rather than having a that's not what Karate Kid has to do with. That's not the story of Karate Kid.
Chosen is in season 3, right?
I haven't gotten to that part, but yeah, from what I understand, yes. I haven't gotten that
Karate Kid
far.
Part 2, freaking when he went to freaking Japan.
Yes, he's in there.
They do go back to Japan. I know
Daniel, I got to the part where Daniel has just gone to Japan because it's actually really interesting. Like I'm sure Toyota's getting like either paid for this or they get paid. So Daniel owns a car dealership. He owns multiple car dealerships, and one of them is a Toyota dealership. And this is huge spoilers for season 3, by the way. And what ends up happening is this rival who owns another car dealership has signed an exclusive deal with Toyota that Toyota will only provide him with vehicles in that specific region of California that they're based in. So in order to try and counter that, Daniel flies to Japan to meet with Toyota specifically, and he's hoping that his karate background will help him with that. And that's kind of where I'm at. So I haven't gotten to farther than he's literally sitting at a bar in like the Toyota dealer in the Toyota headquarters in Japan. And that's how the episode ends, or it might have been like just how it begins, but we stopped right there. I haven't gotten any further, but yeah, he does go to Japan. And also they literally use flashbacks in almost every episode of Mr. Miyagi.
And it's not like you're going to recast Mr. Miyagi. Like that's like the best way you can honor him.
Yeah, but it's like it's Daniel like having his it's really great how they do it too, because he's going through like a personal problem or issue, and he like just recalls like what did Mr. Miyagi teach me, and like it helps him. And great, my headphones are dying. It's like battery low, please charge now. And he so he takes that advice that he learned from Mr. Miyagi, tries to apply that to the current problems that he's having now. And that happens quite often throughout the first 2 seasons, and they also do it in the 3rd season. So yeah, I mean, this is just the LA Times has done this before. This is how they got. This is a woke lobby. They're a woke lobby publication. They're citing woke lobbyists.
This is who John Ridley wrote for, right?
Yeah, John Ridley published an op-ed condemning HBO Max for Gone with the Wind. They literally took it off their platform, and then they, for like a month or more, and then they put in some like BS like trigger warning on it before they put it back on. But this is exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to get them to change the show. And I think you have some quotes in this article from some of the showrunners. They said they're going to do it. They're going to do it.
So the showrunners responded and said they're well aware of the criticisms, and having made Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle, we've been particularly sensitive to Asian American representation in movies and television. While there are no writers of and then the author of the article points out how there are no writers of Asian descent on Cobra Kai. But they lean on actors like Tomita Okumoto and their stunt coordinator and original Karate Kid writer Robert Mark Kamen for guidance. So they have their experts, they have their consultants. And one of the creators said, we would have loved to have, if there was a Miyagi son or daughter that was floating around in the lineage and the canon of the movie to play with, but they inherited the story that felt like and then they noted they declined to do so out of respect for canon, as they inherited the story that it felt like the natural continuation, where for better or worse, you were dealing with Johnny and Daniel as your protagonists. Yes. So, like, perfect. And then they also pointed out that people were complaining about how the background didn't look exactly like LA. It's not as diverse as LA. And the showrunners point out, that they're filming in Atlanta and they're working with what they've got. Like, this is just... It's filmmaking, you know? And then, but then in closing, the team told her, or the author, that the introduction of an Asian character is definitely something that is in our plans going forward, teasing that any character who has appeared in the Karate Kid universe has the potential to return.
I think they introduced they brought back one of Ralph's like girlfriends too, who's Asian. I don't remember.
Karate Kid Part 2, the really hot Asian.
Yes, I think so. Yes. Her. I think she makes a cameo. I haven't gotten that far, but I think I saw something about that. But look, Sam's best friend is a black chick. You see her right there in this
right there
with the glasses. She plays a huge role in the show. She's a member of Cobra Kai. I don't think she came back for season 3 though. I haven't seen her, which is kind of odd. She played a huge role in seasons 1 and 2. They got another. There's another black guy who's part of the Miyagi Do, and he has his own kind of subplot going on with the rivalry with Miyagi Do, which is Daniel's karate dojo and Cobra Kai. The show is just really good. They don't care about like the race of these characters isn't mentioned besides people like these LA Times people
trying to make an issue out of it.
Yeah, it's literally like people are just like, you're a person, and they have an issue with them personally if there's an issue. It's not has nothing to do with any of this other crap that they're trying to bring in. But I would not be surprised if season 4 is wokeified and it goes downhill from there. Plus, it's at Netflix now, so
yeah, so that bodes even worse for it.
Yeah, but we'll see. I mean, and like I said, season 2, the end of season 2, kind of became very CW-ish soap opera. So very soap opera. With like Johnny, like, oh, he's like going great with like Miguel's mom, and like they're going on dates and things are going great. And then like literally after Miguel gets in a fight at the school, she's like, I'm done with you. Karate's evil. Like, what did you do to my son? Like, he's in a coma now. So it's just stuff like that. It's just like, oh, come on. Like, you take him from a high to like this extreme low. And I'm like, this is such a soap opera. It felt very Game of Thrones-y, if that makes sense.
It does.
So, and I'm just like, come on, like, keep it grounded. Keep it grounded.
Just like drama for the sake of drama.
Yes, her. I think she shows up. Yes, I believe they bring her back. But yeah, this is the future. This is the present, and this is the future.
I think Alex puts it best in the chat here. At the end, SJWs will simply say, you didn't go green if someone goes blue, or you didn't go blue if you go green. Because that's what their arguments are. There's no consistencies in rules, just pure hate.
Yes, this is the same stuff that we saw with Iron Fist.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Stuff.
I'm sure Isaac isn't Jewish enough.
Yeah, we've seen that. Scarlett Johansson can't play the cross-dressed character.
Gal Gadot
Ruby Rose isn't Jewish enough or gay enough to play Batwoman.
Yeah, Will Smith isn't black enough to play Serena Williams' Serena and what's their sister's name?
Venus
Williams' dad.
What's her the Nina Simone, Zoe Kravitz, right?
Zoe Kravitz
wasn't black enough to play
Zoe
Nina
Saldana.
Simone. Zoe Saldana, that's right.
To play who?
To play Nina Simone.
Nina Simone.
Oh yeah, yes. Yeah. Oh my, that one. Oh my gosh.
That one was insane.
She bowed to that so hard too. Oh my gosh.
People got mad that Cannonball wasn't Brazilian enough in New Mutants. Oh yeah, it's Saldana. It's Saldana.
Like in the comics?
No. In the movie.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, people
he's not brown enough.
Isn't Cannonball is the guy from Stranger Things, right?
Yeah.
He's talking about not Cannonball.
Sunspot.
Sunfire.
Sunspot.
Yeah.
Sunspot. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Sunspot. Okay, yeah. Okay, I was like, wait, the guy from Stranger Things is white, isn't he?
Not dark enough.
Yeah, you just expect this now, I feel like. So, and they already are kind of saying that they're going to cave. So expect Cobra Kai to decline in quality, because that's what happens when you put this agenda before
writing.
Yeah.
When you put skin tone in front of good writing, it goes downhill.
Yep. All right, let's switch to Lord of the Rings. I guess we could go back to Star Wars too. We still got a bunch of Star Wars stuff we got to talk to. But let's do Lord of the Rings. Let's do Lord of the Rings first.
All right.
And we'll get back to Star Wars.
Come on, internet. There we go.
Favorite movie trilogy.
Roof Green says, the way things are going, we as fans should start really hyping and praising everything EA. And once the media notices and starts tearing down the hype, we can pull a General Hux and scream, just kidding.
That would be kind of incredible. Reverse psychology them to fighting for our causes.
I feel like 4chan has kind of done that, but they've taken it and made it look real. They try and do that.
Meme magic.
Yeah. Oh, it's so bad. Yeah, that's putting yourself in the front of the line though. Alexander. You're not. That's how that works. All right, so we got a new synopsis from Amazon's upcoming Lord of the Rings. I found it interesting that they released it through the OneRing.net before they gave it to the trades.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
Coming from Amazon, that's kind of interesting because I don't actually think that website gets a lot of traffic. So that was kind of cool. They gave it to the diehards, which could mean that might be a good sign, maybe. But I'm not sure how.
Making an effort, they're at least extending an olive branch, maybe, even though the olive branch might actually be covered with thorns.
Yeah, I have seen them post I've seen the OneRing.net post a bunch of stuff where they're trying to get people to accept some of the rumors that have been coming out, like the nude scenes and stuff like that, and trying to justify that. So that might be why. But but like, what does Bruce Crane say? I'm handing out black pills. I'm just being honest. All right. I gotta drink some water here. My throat is going dry. I'm out of water. Luckily, I have Gatorade. All right. So we got I thought this was quite a lengthy synopsis here.
It's pretty long, or it's pretty, yeah.
And when I was doing research for this, I was just like, holy crap, like I didn't even realize we got to see, like I didn't catch these details of these from these in Lord of the Rings. I didn't catch this stuff. Like the second screen. Oh, I think I just lost my headphones. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, we heard you. Trickle in there.
You hear yourselves?
Now we can.
All right, let's see if I can figure this out.
Oh, Lord of the Rings. Why did they have to make The Hobbits? What a waste of movies. What a waste of time. Just everybody's time involved.
What, you didn't like the Hobbit trilogy?
Oh, dude. You mean I didn't love green screen the movie?
Yeah.
Ugh, so bad. Like, you come from Lord of the Rings proper, which has some of the best practical effects and like expertly executed CGI, and then you get to Marvel CGI Fest. Not even Marvel. That was like Justice League level fest. Like everything was just green screened, and you had terrible subplots like the barrel scene.
Oh, the barrel scene, the mine scene,
the romance between Thorin and or not Thorin. Is it who dates or who has the hots for Evangeline Lilly? I forget. One of those guys does.
Wait. I don't know. Evangeline Lilly?
Yeah, she plays the like female elf.
Oh.
She's a new character that they introduced just to that movie because for some reason they like. It's so hard for me to look at it, take anything seriously when it's such an obvious cash grab. So things like extending a book that is this long that you assign to middle schoolers into 3 like 2-hour movies is just one of those things where I just can't deal with it. It's just like, Hollywood, go away. We don't want this.
Yeah, I thought like the first film was going to be it, and then they brought out the 2 more, and I'm like, this is only supposed to be 1 book, dudes. Like the other 3 movies, those were like 3 books, but this is 1, and you're gonna stretch all of that into 3 movies, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, Mark, like seeing the original Lord of the Rings films in every visual upgrade is fantastic, but at this point I'm just waiting for it to be like VR. Like it's going to be the first fully immersive like VR experience. You'll be able to like storm Helm's Deep and stick your head in the swamps with the ghost people. God, why am I forgetting it all? All the proper names. I don't have them memorized anymore like I used to.
Yeah, because right after I read the books, I had watched the movies, and oh man, it was like an orgasm seeing that first.
Yeah, I remember the last time I actually watched all of the Lord of the Rings movies was 18, 20, or not, maybe not even then, like maybe like 2013 when they did the re-releases in theaters of like the extended cuts, and those movies, dude, they're so cool. Plus, like the best character is the Mouth of Sauron, and he's only in the extended cut.
Wow,
What up, Drew?
I totally and completely epically failed, man. I ate supper and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go on stream, I'll be there, and then I totally pulled a Rip Van Drew.
Rip Van Drew.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking some Lord of the Rings right now. We got a new synopsis.
All I can think about
Amazon.
All I can think about every time I think of Lord of the Rings is that scene from Clerks 2.
Which one?
The one where the guy where they're busting on the Lord of the Rings fandom.
Yeah.
All right, so we got this. So if you don't know, Amazon is doing a huge, big budget Amazon or Lord of the Rings show. And we found out here, I think it's at the bottom, but I think it's 5 seasons, and they're thinking of doing 8 to 10 episodes per season. And they're thinking that it's already been confirmed for 5 seasons. And this is they got over $1 billion involved in this.
I don't get though, what can they do that the movies really didn't?
It's a prequel.
It's a prequel. They're going to the second age. We're going to get to see. So we're going to scroll back up. Oh. Yeah, so we'll just read the synopsis. Oh, no, right there. Let's read the synopsis here. Amazon Studios' forthcoming series brings to screens for the very first time the heroic legends of the fabled Second Age of Middle-earth's history. This epic drama is set thousands of years before the events of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, and will take viewers back to an era in which great powers were forged, kingdoms rose to glory and fell to ruin, unlikely heroes were tested, hope hung by the finest of threads, and the greatest villain that ever flowed from Tolkien's pen threatened to cover all the world in darkness. Beginning in a time of relative peace, the series follows an ensemble cast of characters, both familiar and new, as they confront the long-feared reemergence of evil to Middle-earth. Scroll down. From the darkest depths of the Misty Mountains to the majestic forests of the elf capital of Lindon to the breathtaking island kingdom of Numenor to the furthest reaches of the map, these kingdoms and characters will carve out legacies that live on long after they are gone. So that's a huge promise. They think that they're going to be able to rival Tolkien's works, literary works. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the One Ring says Plane has a minimum 5-season series with 8 to 10 episodes per season. And they're going to be filming season 1 and 2 back to back in New Zealand beginning this month. I think they've already filmed the first 2 episodes, which are pilot episodes directed by J.A. Bayona in New Zealand earlier this year. I think they just kind of finished because he's left New Zealand, I believe, based on his Instagram accounts. But there's been a lot of rumors about the stuff that they fired the writers, got new writers. There's lots of stuff going on. The people who are show running this show have never run a show ever.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Doing Lord of the Rings. So that's
I am not very I don't know, positive about this project then.
Optimistic.
And I believe they're attached to a bad reboot.
Oh boy.
Well, so
oh god. Well, yeah, forget it then.
We're just stacking it up now.
Dread Pirate Mikey is saying they're doing Second Age. And yeah, they basically confirmed they were doing Second Age when they first announced, did an announcement project. So if you scroll down,
so
a lot of the
first
stuff isn't
2 minutes of the Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, is essentially what they're going to be covering.
So the Second Age is actually, there's a ton of stuff happening. So if you scroll up real quick. No, actually, you're right. Never mind. You're good.
So the Kingdoms of Men get the 12 rings. The Elven Kings, the Elven Lords get the 3. The Dwarves get the 10.
Hey, Stephen Ernest.
I do. We'll get there.
Okay,
You'll see
never
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's called an epigraph, and it's in the beginning of the. Here, I have it right here.
Oh, you have the hardcover?
I got a softback. That's the return. Which they actually like. So there's this epigraph here. I don't know if y'all can see it. But yeah, it's the beginning of the fellowship, and then it tells you about the rings. And they shared the same. They shared. We'll get to it. It's in. I got it in the article here, so we'll be able to see it better there. But they shared that like when they first announced the project back in 2019. But so they released this video. I think it was in 2019 as well. They confirmed that it would be taking place in the Second Age. They they zoomed in the Second Age. Then if you scroll down, they showed a couple places. One of them was Numenor, so we knew that. And then they also so keep going. They also posted on Twitter here all these like 3 rings for the this is what Don was saying. 3 rings for the Elven Kingdoms of the Sky. They showed part of that map where that's going to be. 7 for the Dwarf Lords in their halls of stone. 9 for the mortal men doomed to die. 1 for the Dark Lord on his dark throne in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie. 1 ring to rule them all. 1 ring to find them. 1 ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie. And I think there's 1 more. Scroll down. Oh no, that's it. Okay,
that's it.
So there's that, and then you get the full epigraph right there. 3 rings for the Elven Kings under the
comics. My name is John Trent. I am the founder and editor-in-chief of Bounding in the Comics.
Yeah.
Today, I want to talk about.
Already?
Drew, I muted you because you were playing a video of me, and we were getting it through the mic there. But it says 3 rings for the Elven Kings under the sky. 7 for the Dwarf Lords in their halls of stone. 9 for mortal men doomed to die. 1 for the Dark Lord on his dark throne in land of Mordor where the shadows lie. 1 ring to rule them all. 1 ring to find them. 1 ring to bring them all. And in the darkness, bind them in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie. So that's the epigraph. But yeah, so you get these like really cool. Like this is from where I think Galadriel is telling them about Sauron and him forging the rings, and then how Isildur chopped off his finger or whatever. So he lost the ring. And then there's like this really cool scene where I forget who has I think it's Saruman's like how he's communicating with Sauron.
Yeah, the Palantir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Palantir, and like if you scroll back up, so Sauron is like I think he's like messing with I think that's in right there. I think that's in Two Towers, right?
2 Towers, right?
Yep.
Yeah, because they're in Rohan, and what's his name has the Palantir, right? And one of the 2 hobbits has it, I believe. Yeah, Mary has it. Damn it, you know you're Lord of the Rings, don't you? So Mary has it, and Sauron is able to see what they're planning because I think that's after Gandalf had like knocked the whoever had been like possessing him or whatever, the king.
Yeah, so he divines the king out of his stupor, and then he comes back.
Right.
Oh wait, no, this is the guy from. No, is it the guy that was being seduced by Wormtongue, or is it the guy that's from Gondor?
I thought this was.
I think
I thought it was Wormtongue. I thought it was right after Gandalf like knocked him out of Wormtongue or whatever. It might have been before that.
Yeah, he knocks him out because eventually the guy that's seduced by Wormtongue jumps off of the White Tower.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. So this was right. Yes. So this was towards the end, I think, because it was.
Yeah. So okay. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go on.
And so like I didn't even notice this, but like you see Sauron in his like armor there, with that before he turns into the eye, that you typically see him as. And I just thought that was like really cool. And then Aragorn tries to like, do you see the sword? This is a sealed door. sword that like chopped off your like ring, bro, and puts you in that state. And then he shows him like a picture of what's her name? Aowen. No. Aowen is the human, right?
Yeah, Aowen's the chick.
Is the human chick, right?
Yeah, who kills the
Right, who kills oh my gosh, who is what is the elf chick's name?
Galadriel.
Oh yeah.
No. The other one.
Evangeline Lilly's character?
No.
Not
Evangeline
Evangeline.
Lily's in The
Not
Hobbit.
Evangeline.
I know.
It's,
Aerosmith's daughter.
it's Liv Tyler.
Liv Tyler, yeah, her.
He said Aerosmith's daughter.
She
Steven
is.
Tyler.
She is. She's Steven Tyler's daughter.
Yeah.
Arwen.
Smith?
You're talking about Arwen.
Arwen. Yes, thank you. Arwen, yes. Sauron shows Arwen like dying. It's like just a big like, you think that sword scares me? Like, your chick's dying. Get out of here. Like, I know about this. And I just like I didn't even like maybe I didn't remember that, but I just thought that was like a really cool detail that I had missed, that like you actually see him in his armor there
I
from
think
when
you need to do a
Galadriel.
rewatch.
Yeah, I probably do.
Yeah.
I do like the Lord of the Rings films. I actually haven't read. I have the books on the shelf, but I haven't read them. I've read The Hobbit though. I did read The Hobbit. Yeah.
Mark 63366. Liv Tyler was hotter when she was younger.
Oh yeah. In that
She
crazy
looked-
video.
She was.
Oh,
smoking
dude, yes. In
Lord
the
of the Rings.
in the video for Crazy, she was. Oh my god.
Oh,
Her
my
and
bad.
what's her name? Oh god, I can't think of
Silverstone.
Yes,
Alicia Silverstone.
yes.
The super vegan.
So that's kind of what we got. We kind of know that they're going to be doing. I don't know. We'll see. I feel like they're setting themselves up to cover a lot of stuff, but only giving themselves 40 episodes, 60 max to do it.
It is a lot to cover.
They're going to have to be jumping around a lot. It looks like we're going to get the fall of Numenor. As far as the characters that are going to be familiar with, I think they're referring to Elrond. We're going to get him. We're going to get Galadriel. So those are like kind of the we're going to get the elves that we're familiar with because they were alive back then. We might see some of the what are they called? What is Gandalf called? The wizards, I guess. But they'll have something
wizard,
other name.
Ishtar.
Starts the Ishtar. We'll probably see the Ishtar.
Man,
Obviously,
look at Don go.
obviously Don is like killing
Tom
him.
Bombadil. We gonna see Tom Bombadil?
Tom Bombadil. My man.
Is he a hobbit?
What is it? So
I don't know, dude. I don't know who Tom Bombadil is. I'll be honest. Do you know who
this
Tom Bombadil is,
frustrates me
Spencer?
to no end.
Yeah, but I'm not going to ruin it for Don, I guess.
Tom Bombadil is one of the, I guess you would call him like one of the eternal beings that lives in Middle Earth during the time, and he's completely unaffected by everything that's going on in Middle Earth.
Oh, so he was one of the gods. He was like the seven
He's
creatures
like
or
a
whatever.
weird god, yeah. So he actually puts on the One Ring in kind of a playful way and isn't affected by it, and just throws it away.
Bright blue his jacket is, and his boots are yellow.
Yeah. And then the council actually says that they consider giving it to Tom Bombadil because his realm is safe and he isn't tempted by the ring like everybody else is. But they decided against it because he would just throw it away out of carelessness.
Okay.
So he's the most interesting character in my mind.
Yeah, I love Tom.
Is he in Lord of the Rings?
He's got an entire poem.
The book, yeah.
Okay. He's not in the movies though, right?
Not in the movies.
No.
Okay. That's why I don't know who he is. I assume he's in. I assume he's in Silmarillion.
I
I
didn't make
don't
it
think so.
brilliant, so I don't know.
They said that
He's just
Tom. He said
in
Tom's
Lord of the
lines in the
Rings.
movies are given to Treebeard. That's what Roof Korean is saying.
I'd have to go into the movies again, read the books.
Hammer of Doom asks, "What is with that bell?" So if you haven't, you obviously have. Thank you for joining us, Hammer of Doom. You're new to the show. Don rings the bell when there is an attractive woman, or I say some kind of innuendo.
Yeah,
That I
it's
don't
the
know what
bell.
I'm saying.
It's the bell of sexy.
Yeah. That if that explains it, yeah. Yeah, Mark 6336 probably says it more succinctly. The cowbell sounds for hotness. True. And sexual innuendo. That I don't know that I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what did I say? And it's like, I have no idea what I said, but the bell's ringing, so I said something. And it's not just me; it's for everyone on the panel.
Oh yeah, it's for all of us.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's me. I feel like a lot of it is me, though. Maybe that's just me. Okay, so yeah, Second Age, Numenor for sure. I think we're gonna get. I think some of the OneRing.net rumors was like we're gonna get like Celebrimbor, who's like I think he was one of the elves that like helped forge the rings with Sauron.
That's a deep cut right there.
I wouldn't be surprised if they start. What was the guy's name? What's the guy's name that starts with M? Who was the Dark Lord before Sauron?
Morgoth? They're doing Morgoth?
I mean, if you're gonna do Sauron ring building, wouldn't you mention him at least? I would think in passing.
Maybe I would mention, but I wouldn't introduce his character because that's way back.
I don't think they're gonna. I mean, he's first stage, right?
Yeah, he's like at the beginning with.
And he's one of the 12 beings, right, or whatever it is.
I wouldn't know, but
yeah, that's
old. Way at the beginning.
Stuff. There's like 12. I think there's. I don't know what the number is, but there's like some kind of beings that like shape the world or whatever, and one of them is Morgoth, and he's like he projects the principles the other ones laid out or whatever.
Hail, Fat Steven Seagal.
Yeah, it's very.
Hey, buddy.
It's very Christianity, like biblical kind of.
Rooted.
Yeah, it's very Genesis and Genesis oriented.
Yeah.
It's way harder. It's really tough to read. I struggled. I didn't finish it.
Genesis has story structure,
and it's very tough to read. The Silmarillion is.
Yeah.
But I think it was published after, if I remember correctly, that was published after Tolkien's death, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think he had some stuff in there, but then it was.
I'm pretty sure
a
it's
lot of it was compiled by his son.
So yeah, Max. Oh yeah, the Valar. I don't know.
Oh, okay, the Valar. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's what he was. He was one of the Valar, most powerful. Yeah, and then he's evil though, which is very similar to the devil.
Fall of Satan.
Yeah.
Lucifer.
I see we got a super chat from Fat Steven Seagal who beat up Ryan Johnson for $2 Canadian. Bombadil pickle is my favorite flavor of elf chips. That's a good one. Yeah, John is right. J.R. wrote Silmarillion published after his death. Yes. Okay. So thank you for that. I do like how we have a lot of. I like how a lot of our folks here are like huge Lord of the Rings fans. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I like that. So
there it is, not Ishtar.
So yeah, Gandalf and the other wizards are the Maiar. Okay, yeah.
Maiar. Why did I say Ishtar?
Right. So I feel like I'm gonna have to read these books that I've got back here just so I can catch up. It'd be really a lot better. I do source them when I read stuff. So like I remember I looked it up. The part about Galat. I think it's Celebrimbor's wife, I believe. She's like attacked by orcs and like imprisoned, and like they have to free her. That's like in the appendix of one of the books, because there's like a timeline of events in the back of the books, and then she goes off into the west, right? I believe.
All I know is the name of Celebrimbor, and I'm like, what the heck? They're pulling that out of out of deep cut lore.
Well, if they're doing, I mean, it looks like they're obviously doing the forging of the rings. So I believe he forges them.
Yeah.
So yeah, Fast Steven Seagal says if you do Silmarillion to audio, it's so tedious to read. Yeah, I think when I was trying to read it, audio books were not common. Were not common like they are now. So yeah, this is I mean, there's not really much to say. We're doing Second Age. There's a ton of stuff that they can cover. Obviously, we're doing Numenor. We're doing something that takes place in the Misty Mountains. We're doing something with the elf capital in Linden. We're getting I would assume we're getting the Forging of the Rings, and we're obviously getting a Sauron-focused story, it sounds like, because what do they say? The greatest villain that ever flowed from Tolkien's pen threatened to cover all the world in darkness. Which I think, what is that? It's the War of the Alliance of the Human and Elves or something like that.
Oh yeah, the War of the oh gosh.
And we got to see a little bit of that in the Lord of the Rings movies.
Lord of the Rings, yeah.
Where Sauron just is wiping out all these people. He kills the human king. The son rushes to him as he's I guess he's dead or he's dying. He grabs the sword, Isildur's sword, and then as what's his name's about to kill him, he slices the ring off of his hand, and he loses his corporeal form and retreats it back into Mordor. And I lost my headphones again.
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Bing.
Okay, so there's not a lot of. So they're essentially going to write this show
from the ground up.
It's all going to be. Are there any notes or any from Tolkien that they can use or utilize?
The Silmarillion, they can use a lot from it, but no story. It's a lot of world building, but there's no narrative to it.
Ooh.
So you know what it's like? It's kind of like the Fantastic Beasts movies, where J.K. Rowling wrote this fun little tiny guide, just to build the world, and they expanded it into going on 3 now. 3 movies.
Why?
Because
okay, so what? No. I know why. Money and viewership, but I mean,
I'm like the only person on our staff not super into Lord of the Rings.
Why?
I mean, it's okay. I read the books when I was a kid, but
the movies were just,
Yeah.
Drew is very much the opposite of you, where you, Don, are high fantasy, medieval type stuff, and Drew is very much sci-fi.
Way science fiction, yeah. I told John that when we were sitting there eating. I'm like, I'm the science fiction dude.
They have a so in the back, I'm looking at my Return of the King book here. In the back of one of the appendix, they have they have dates. I'm trying to find where I just had it, but I lost it because
for the Second Age.
Yeah, they have Second Age dates. Yeah, Appendix F. Oh no, that's language. That's not it.
Morgoth is not going to be Second Age.
There's lots of appendices. I'm going the wrong way now.
No, that's Tolkien for you. It's life's work.
But there's a whole. Here it is. Is this it? No, that's spelling.
So they're going to write the show from the appendices? Is that
well, here it is. Appendix B. It's, yeah. So if you look at Appendix B in Return of the Kings, there's a whole. He has a whole Third Age breakdown, but he also has a Second Age breakdown as well. And it starts with Year 1, Foundation of the Grey Havens and of Linden. In Year 32, the Edain reach Numenor. Age 40, year 40, many dwarves leaving their old cities in arid Luin to go to Moria and swell its numbers.
Oh yeah, the
Or-
silver
and then
mine.
it-
Why did I have to use that
And then,
word?
and then it literally skips to year 442, death of Elros Tar Miniator. And then
the Minotaur?
death of Elros Tar Miniator. I don't know who that
Sounds
is.
more like a name.
Okay.
500, Sauron begins to stir again in Middle Earth. And then 548, birth in Numenor of Silmarion. And then 600, the first ships of the Numenorians appear off the coasts. 750, a region founded by the Noldor. 1,000, Sauron, alarmed by the growing power of the Numenorians, chooses Mordor as a land to make into a stronghold. He begins the building of Barad-dûr. So, so I assume we're gonna get like
All of
Sauron, and I assume that's all gonna be in there. I mean, it keeps going on. 1500. I'm skipping around. 1500. The Elven Smiths, instructed by Sauron, reach the height of their skill. They begin the forging of the Rings of Power. Definitely gonna get that. 1590. The 3 rings are completed in a region. 1600. Sauron forges the 1 ring in Orodruin. He completes the Barad-dûr. Celebrimbor perceives the designs of Sauron. 1693, War of the Elves and Sauron begins. The 3 rings are hidden. So I assume we're going to get this too. Gil-galad sends Elrond to Rhuidean. The Rhuidean laid waste. Death of Celebrimbor, 1697. The gates of Moria are shut. Elrond retreats with remnant of the Noldor and founds the refuge of Imladris. I mean, so there's a ton of stuff here that they can go through. I mean, you're skipping a ton of time, but there is a lot of stuff in here that they can go through. So the end here is 3441. Sauron overthrown by Elendil and Gil-galad, who perish. Isildur takes the 1 ring. Sauron passes away, and the ring wraiths go into the shadows. The Second Age ends. So there's a ton of stuff.
So essentially, this show is going to be fill in the blanks.
Yep.
Well, yeah, you're going to have this stuff, and then you're going to be like, all right, like the Numenorians, the Numenorians growing in power throughout Middle Earth, I guess, and Sauron like fearing them. It's once you get to this, Don, it'll sound very similar to the Shan. That's what it sounds like to me from Wheel of Time, honestly. So I mean, Robert Jordan was probably inspired by some of that. In the appendices there. So there looks like there's going to be quite a bit. There's quite a bit. I mean, there's tons of stuff that they can do there. But we'll see how they build up to those events and lead up to them. I think that's what they're going to be doing. Yeah, Dreadpire Mikey, fill in the blanks. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, laying out the grand plan is one thing, but it's how they execute it.
Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian.
Come on.
I mean, a lot of people are hesitant about this show because of the erotic.
The rumors about the nude scenes, and then I think what's more concerning though is the showrunner's statement using the term diversity. That's just code for woke.
Yeah.
In this day and age, so
usually
that's like more concerning to me. Is that so? We'll see what happens. I mean, I like Lord of the Rings. I'll probably give it I'll definitely check it out. We'll probably review it here when it ever comes out. When it comes out. So there's that.
Yeah.
All right. What do we want to? Let's do Batwoman.
Speaking of woke.
Yeah.
Speak of the devil and he shall appear.
Yeah, it's also it's so annoying. Like you can't even charge the headphones with them on. It like turns them off.
That's so weird.
It's dumb.
Yeah. So, what kind of headphones did you get?
Taylor's Tech.
So dumb, dude. These headphones are trash. You can't even charge them while having them on.
Yeah, the ones I got, like these HyperXs, all you do is just plug them into your computer and they're good to go.
That's what I had before, and I have like the cable, but when you do that, they don't work. Like it doesn't work. So I have to use the Bluetooth.
That's crazy.
I don't understand. Like maybe it's me being an idiot, like I was with my microphone, but
Yeah, we're not ruling that out.
yeah, I'm not either. All right, so I know none of us here watched this show because it's absolute trash, and it looks like it's going to become even more trash in season 2. But we got like confirmation that they're going to be like literally doing race politics in season 2.
We're script doctors.
Yeah, I don't wish anyone watching this show. But yeah, so we got an interview from did a video about this earlier this week. But we got an interview of Carolyn. I think her name's Carolyn Dries, showrunner for Batwoman, where she confirms that race politics are going to be in the show. She talks about Ryan Wilder's character and kind of tried to clarify that the character isn't really a criminal like they had said she was when they first announced the show through the trades. So just to set the stage here, I think they first announced Ryan Wilder through Variety. That was one of the trades I was reporting on it. The Joe Otterson, who writes for them, I don't know if he still does, but he did at the time, described her as a drug runner. So he wrote, she is described as likable, messy, a little goofy, and untamed. She's also nothing like Kate Kane, previously played by Ruby Rose, the woman who wore the batsuit before her. With no one in her life to keep her on track, Ryan spent years as a drug runner, dodging the GCPD and masking her pain with bad habits, which implied she was using as well. Mm-hmm. That's like she's doing painkillers.
Imply that just tells you.
Yeah.
There's really no dodging around that one.
Well, she could have been doing something else, like
caffeine addiction.
Harm. Well, I was thinking more like physical harm to herself. But I'm not going to say that because that might be a problem.
I can say it on my channel though, so check it out later.
Okay, there you go. Today, Ryan lives in her van with her plant, a girl who would steal milk for an alley cat and could also kill you with her bare hands. Ryan is the most dangerous type of fighter, highly skilled and wildly undisciplined. Absolutely false. Highly skilled and disciplined are much more dangerous fighters than someone who is undisciplined. If anyone watches any kind of like MMA fighting, I think,
or even just watches Batman, period. Like that's his entire thing.
Yeah, about being disciplined. Yes.
Yeah, disciplined and how his skills overcome wild and crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there's other DC characters too, like Wildcat. Yeah, Green Arrow. Like they're all like disciplined. The Question. They're all disciplined.
It's the Ray thing again.
Yeah, it totally is. She's an out lesbian, athletic, raw, passionate, fallible, and very much not your stereotypical all-American hero. Exactly what I want to see in a comic book hero, right? You know. So speaking with EW, Dries is clarifying just what Wilder's relationship with drugs is. While Ryan never used drugs, she was in a relationship where somebody was using drugs, and it's ultimately what got Ryan put away in jail. So they're trying to claim that she was falsely accused of some kind of drug crime because she was in a relationship with someone who did drugs. Like that's what she said.
I don't know about falsely accused, but maybe like she started like doing crime. She was a drug runner, so maybe that's what. She's running for her.
So remember
whatever.
I think she said she says, so it's this idea that Ryan is this innocent woman. That's what Dry says in the next sentence. So she's saying that she's innocent. She isn't a drug runner. She got arrested because someone else had drugs that she was in a dating
of having, I guess. Yeah. You're right.
No, I'm not. I'm just shaking my head because this is so. It's.
Oh no, I'm not talking. I was just saying. No, I was not commenting on your head shake.
They're already making the character a victim.
Yep.
She's a victim.
That's what sells. That's what people identify with these days.
Put your best foot forward, CW. Oh, you stumbled in the first 5 minutes.
And if she were okay, so this is where they talk about the race politics here too.
Here we go.
So it's this idea that Ryan is this innocent woman, and if she were white,
No,
per
geez.
se,
There it
white per
is.
se, what does that even? Why are you even adding that?
Oh, God.
She might not have had the same punishment. Might
Okay,
not.
Chris Evans.
Like we know what you're
Freaking-
saying.
Yeah.
She, as an innocent black woman, had to go through. That's a huge piece of her backstory. That's something that we're exploring this year.
Oh boy.
I won't be there to watch it.
I won't either.
Neither will I.
I don't think anybody here would watch it.
No, I didn't watch the first season of it. I have definitely not watched it.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, as soon as they said that, like, the Batsuit's, like, gonna be on a best on a woman or whatever from the first trailer, that trailer, I was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
This is trash. No intentions. What's so sad is, like, I watched those CW shows, like, religiously.
Yeah.
Especially when the Flash came out, I was watching that
I loved The Flash.
all the time, and then that got me to go back and watch the Arrow. I went back and watched the Arrow stuff. I was watching Legends of Tomorrow, and then they just went woke. Yeah, Roof Green. I was gonna put that in the article, but I didn't. But that's exactly what they're doing. It's a Breonna Taylor story. So the media's narrative of the Breonna Taylor story. That's exactly yeah. That's exactly what they're doing. That's exactly what it is. 100%. That's what I said. I didn't write that. That's what I thought, but I figured people would figure it out because that's what she's saying. But yeah, I 100% agree. That's exactly what they're doing.
I totally forgot her name. Even though
Ryan
they keep
Wilder?
planning to say her name. I'm just
Oh. Are you making a joke or are you being serious?
kind of making a joke.
Okay. I laughed. I thought it was funny. But yeah, so then Dry says Batwoman has this particular vendetta against the False Face Society because the idea of drugs permeating the city and nobody taking any responsibility for it strikes at her core. Yeah, that's why she was literally hanging out with someone who's doing drugs. Dating someone who's doing drugs. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess that the person OD'd or something. I have a feeling that's going to happen too.
Probably.
That's just the implication there. Yeah. Lo-fi samurai. Yep. I think that's exactly what they're going with. Yep. All right. Scroll down here. Also, they've released multiple. Like the first two bat suits that they like. Those aren't too bad. That's like they're what Batwoman should look like. But then this other one, if you scroll down, is like super ugly. This one.
Ugh.
Like I don't like the suit. Like what's going on with her hair there?
And her
I don't
sullen
understand
look.
either.
She looks like a different person. Completely.
Yeah, it is.
This looks like a fan mock-up for like Batwoman Begins.
Mm-hmm.
But this is their art.
Graphic design is their passion.
Yeah. So yeah, where's the outrage over boob armor?
Ah.
Probably like what's also crazy about this. I don't know if I think I put the synopsis in here, but like
I think it's right
Spencer,
here.
can you read it?
Yeah, the synopsis begins. In season 2 of Batwoman, when Ryan Wilder, Javicia, right? Yeah, Javicia Leslie? I don't know how to say her first name. When first discovers Kate Kane's Batsuit, she has no idea how drastically her life is about to change. A sassy, smart lesbian with a difficult past, Ryan sees the suit as her chance to finally be powerful and no longer a victim as she serves in the tough streets of the city.
Okay.
While Ryan goes rogue in the shadows, Gotham grapples with their missing hero, believing Batwoman has fled the city after a public standoff with Commander Jacob Kane and the Crows. But Kate Kane's disappearance hits hardest at home, where Jacob, Sophie, Luke, Mary, and even Alice each struggle with the devastating news in their own way. Meanwhile, the False Face Society tightens its grip on Gotham, distributing a perilous new drug known as Snakebite. Bruce Wayne finds his way home to wreak havoc. Sophia surfaces with plans for revenge, and a new set of villains descend on the city. It's not long before Ryan realizes how much the symbol on the suit means to Gotham, launching her on a personal journey that takes her from fledgling substitute to confident Cape Crusader, from living in her van with her plant to chasing villains in the Batmobile. Ryan Wilder becomes a very different Batwoman than Kate Kane, her own Batwoman, but with the same understanding of what it means to be a hero. And it premieres in 4 days, which is Sunday night. It's a Sunday night show? Why is it a Sunday night show? That feels weird, right? Am I crazy?
Get all those folks coming out of church, I guess. They can see a drug-using Batwoman.
Also, this is interesting. I mean, none of us have watched the show, obviously, but Bruce Wayne finds his way home to wreak havoc. I wonder, I mean, it's in quotation marks, so I doubt it's actually Bruce, but maybe it is, or maybe it's like Hush. But they'll probably use it as like a sounding board just to, compare Ryan to Bruce and be like, oh, you're privileged. Oh, you're all this. You had this when you basically, I bet you there will be some variant of you had Batman handed to you. I had to work for it.
Wait, and Crisis on Infinite Earths, if anybody's watched that, didn't Kate kill Batman? AKA Bruce Wayne?
Yes. I think so.
Bruce Wayne.
I think I read that.
Yeah, that was played by Kevin Conroy.
It was the Batman. Conroy.
Yeah, it was Kevin Conroy's Batman.
The show was on Sunday first season too, because I think both Supergirl and Supergirl were too. Steven Ernst points out, so that's not new. That's normal.
Huh. Seems odd to me. But I believe it.
I mean, they're competing against football, but
I know, right?
Other than that, it's fine. I guess they got like the other stuff on. I don't even know, reruns on the weekdays. I don't know. They got Walker now. Supernatural. I don't even know what else they've got. Walker is like the only other thing that I know that they have. I saw a comment here that I think Mark6336 said. No, it was Mark Lorseth said. Maybe the frizzy hair is her suit wig and the dreads is her real hair. Yeah, that's possible. That's what it looks like if you look at those. I would assume those two images. And then if you scroll up to the comic image,
what? That one or this one?
Yeah, I guess we don't. I don't have the one where we show her face. They don't show her hair that's from Batgirl 50, and I guess they don't show her. There's another image where you get a close look about her. Oh no, actually they do. Go back right there. Go back up.
Like, you can kind of see it.
You can see her. She's got the frizzy hair there.
In the rightmost panel.
Yeah, you can see that it's kind of coming out of the it's coming out of it's overflowing her hoodie, yeah.
Yeah.
Whoosh. Yeah. So who knows if that's like, I don't know. Like the original Batwoman obviously had short red hair and then they turned it into a wig and then they made it a wig with the long red hair. So Alexander Vidakovich asked, didn't they mention they will put Michael Keaton as Batman? Yeah, I think that's in the movies.
Yeah. Those are for the movies.
YouTube Me says, got a nap. See you guys next time. Thank you for joining us, YouTube Me.
See you, YouTube Me. Cheers. Always a pleasure.
I trust you on that, Alexander. I trust you on that. But yeah, I just no interest. What were the ratings for the? Let's look it up here real quick.
I think they were abysmal as a fellow.
I think they started out at like 1.8 million. I think premiere, and then I think it went down to like 600,000.
Yeah, fellow critic explained it as abysmal.
I mean, I would rather have Ruby Rose back than this.
Really?
I mean, it's like choosing between one bad STD and another bad STD, but God, I'd rather have Ruby Rose back.
This one's got a little more meat though, so I'll take this one.
Well, no,
You're basing it purely off looks. I'm with Don.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I am more of a fan of Ruby Rose. Just saying.
Because Ruby Rose is like a stick with no dimensions to it.
No, I mean, hey, look, don't get me wrong. I like
Ruby Rose right here.
I like a thick girl. I just ain't a fan of the frizzy hair and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the first episode had 1.86 million. By the final show, it was down to 739,000. But there were some episodes that were at like 634,000. So they lost like 1.2 million.
Because everybody probably tuned in because, oh, cool, more CW stuff. We're in for that. At the time, stuff was pretty cool, and then realized, oh, this is just awful.
I think it was just like, oh, it's a new show. Maybe they'll like do some. They're doing Batwoman. We're going to Gotham. Maybe we'll get to see some cool stuff. And then it was like, oh, it's a woke parade. Like, I'm out. Yeah, Alexander Vidakovich is asking. I'm not going to read that question. But you can see his question there. He's asking Mark a question. I guess they're talking about something else. Never mind. One of the bad things about Bridgerton was the black guy with blonde dreads. We're talking about a different show. Yeah, so it's only going to go down. It's gonna be like Doctor Who. You heard it here first. It's gonna be like Doctor Who ratings have consistently gone down with Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker, and it's gonna be the same. You might see a spike with the first episode, but it's just gonna go down from there.
I'm telling you guys, you will get a scene where she says, "I had to earn this suit, and you didn't. You had it handed to you." To Bruce Wayne, she will say.
With Batman. Oh, I don't doubt that one bit. Don't doubt that one bit. All right, was there anything else we wanted to get to? We can do like maybe one more story if we go real quick.
Any of the Star Wars rumors you particularly want to talk about?
Like
there were a couple.
Don, you anything? We talked about the Luke Skywalker one. Do we want to talk about, I don't know, the Ahsoka one? That was so odd. Like, that's obviously where they were going with that. They kind of gave that away.
Someone in the chat was saying that New York Times was saying it was on the bestseller list.
Yeah, the High Republic stuff.
High Republic.
The New York Times is a debunked list. I mean, they literally don't tell you how they come up with that bestseller number. So that's just.
Also, it's not uncommon for the publisher to just buy a bunch of their own books to make it skyrocket.
So it gets that New York Times bestseller, and like they think they can dupe people by like, oh, it's really popular. Lots of other people like it. You should buy it too. That's a typical tactic.
Like 500,000.
Really?
No. I mean,
it's a number one. It's a number one, so that's always going to get more orders too.
Yeah, blue wide Scorpio says they do that to create buzz, make idiots believe it's a must-have. Yeah, I mean, there's literally multiple publishing agents have been very public about how they manipulate the New York Times bestsellers list specifically to do that. Like, and these are people who have had books on the New York Times bestsellers and made a lot of money off of it. It's very similar. I mean, I was looking at it the day it released, and Amazon literally created their own categories.
Yeah, that was so funny.
There was one of them was like Galactic Empire number one. It's like, wow, this is like so sad. So it's like, okay. The Wall Street Journal apparently is a better barometer because they actually do use Nielsen sales numbers, and I guess the Nielsen has about like they track 85% of all book sales. So if you're going to look at at anything for where it is on like a bestsellers list, I would do that. And then I think that like Amazon is still kind of solid on that. You just look at the Kindle rankings, but again, like I said, Amazon is weird because they created their own ranking sort, so it would be number one in those categories. So like that, even then, it's kind of untrustworthy if you're actually looking at hard sales data. And we've talked about this on previous streams, but I think that's what you're going to be seeing moving forward. A lot of sales data, or I wouldn't be surprised if like the stuff that we're seeing, like we're able to look at the Batwoman like viewership numbers right now. I wouldn't be surprised if they find a way to eliminate that in the future. You're already seeing them do that by putting Netflix doesn't release any of their viewership numbers. They only do that sometimes. And then even then it's very vague. But Comic-Con is now it's not like hard numbers from Diamond anymore. It's estimations based off of retailers that they're communicating with that and what they're buying. So it's because DC doesn't even show their comic sales anymore because they use that like other distributor, which a lot of comic shops don't think they're a competitor.
Yeah,
because
right.
They sell comics too, so they don't even use them, and we're seeing people like they're seeing resellers just drop them altogether. So there's that. But I think this is the future. These entertainment companies don't want people knowing how poor their products are actually doing. Because I think a lot of them are being rejected by people. Like they're just not good. Like it's just the stuff isn't good. And then when stuff is good, when you know stuff is good, like like Cobra Kai, the woke police come out to try and rain on the parade.
No fun allowed.
Enjoying. So
it sucks all the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get crap like Batwoman. So because that's what the woke police say that they want, and then no one watches it.
And then nobody watches it.
Chris Neville says we all know when something is crap anyways. Yeah, and I think a lot of us I do think a lot of us have gotten really good at sniffing it out now. Like Lord of the Rings, they're already giving us woke language. Like, is it really going to be that good? Like we're like they the press people need to change the language that they use, the code words that they use.
We figured out the game plan. Yeah,
you start smelling it in the air.
Ben 5 says Batwoman never should have happened. PC stuff ruins the story. 100% agree. They literally did a Batwoman story before we've got a Batman TV show. Just saying.
You had Gotham.
Yeah. When did we actually see Batman in that show? Do we ever see him in that show? I think he's in he wears like some prototype suit, right?
It's his first. It's his quote unquote first bat suit.
Is the bat symbol even on the suit?
I don't remember. I don't.
It's not Batman. I don't think it is. I think it's just a black suit. So, and then Blue Eyed.
Oh yeah, no, the bat's on it. It is. No,
okay.
Yeah, no, it's a full on bat suit. I was wrong.
Okay, but I think it's just in that last episode, right?
Yeah.
So. Yeah, but and then you never get the joke. They all have they tease it's the Joker, but it's never the Joker, even though that guy was fantastic as the Joker. He went on to do Star Wars. Redhead kid. I forget what his name is.
I just know his character in Star Wars is Cal.
Dude, he was great as that Joker.
Dominic Monaghan?
Yes.
Yeah, Monaghan, yes.
Yeah.
Monaghan.
Don't get started on how they'll never do a proper Superman ever again.
Movie?
Series, movie.
Yeah, I don't think they will. I mean, based off the leaked pilot that we had access to for Superman and Lois, they don't know Superman. So, I mean, I think Spencer agrees with me. I've talked about this before, but that Max Landis Superman story, Superman American Alien, is really good.
They'll never adapt it.
6 issues, yeah, fantastic.
Of course they will.
It's good, and that
No, it's a white male protagonist.
But yeah,
Or Soups.
I mean, even like I enjoyed Man of Steel, but like we've pointed this out, like he lets his dad die, which is absolutely idiotic. Superman wouldn't do that. And then he like it takes petty vengeance on like that trucker, which Superman wouldn't do that either. So
It's a deconstructionist thing. So instead of making a heroic icon, they make him.
I don't know if that's really deconstructing.
I don't know if they really.
I think that's just them like making mistakes, like just like Superman wouldn't make that choice.
Yeah, it's like I get what they're going for. Like
deconstruction of Superman is like Red Sun Superman, is Injustice Superman. Those are like deconstructions where it's like all powerful God becomes fascist dictator.
yeah, like what do you do with all that power if you let it really go?
If you don't have discipline, like George Lucas said.
Well, it doesn't matter because the Force is neutral.
The Force is
Oh
female.
my gosh, dude.
No, the
Please.
Force is neutral.
I hate that so much, dude.
Maybe the Force with you.
Yeah. Maybe the Force. Oh my gosh.
Maybe the Force with you.
Like, I didn't even think about that. Oh, why would you say "May the Force be with you" if it's just like completely not like a good entity?
If it's you wouldn't.
If it's just some like it's like oh I don't know. Yeah, Superman not being able to save his father from a heart attack is the better teacher. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Instead of tornado. 100% agreed. Because then you have this you're looking at life ends.
There's also that really good scene in All-Star Superman where the same thing happens, where Pa Kent starts having a heart attack and Superman like breaks all the like sound barriers and he's flying to the farm as fast as he can to the point where he gets there and he's like on fire because he's flying so fast, but Pa is still dead.
Yeah.
Like, that's a much better way to do it.
I liked it. This was in Batman vs Superman. I did like that the part where they get Lois in wherever they're at, like some Middle Eastern country, I guess. I think.
Oh yeah,
or African
like
country.
Wannabe Kahndaq or something, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, is this after they killed Jimmy Olsen?
It's when they killed Jimmy Olsen.
It is the same. Yeah, it is when it happens.
Who's like apparently he's like a CIA. He's like a CIA guy.
So weird.
Posing as a photographer. I did like that scene though with Superman there, and then how he was like they framed him. The press made it out to be like he was like going nutso. I actually thought that was written actually really well. And the courtroom scene again, that was done really well as well. So you had stuff like that like made sense. That was kind of out of his control. He was being panned. It is almost out of it was very dark Knight.
Yes,
where the media is like Batman is the villain. He's killed Harvey Dent, et cetera, et cetera. And I kind of like I thought that that did really well. I know people like I didn't when I first watched it, I didn't think the Martha scene was like that big of a deal. I don't know. I get why people think that, but I don't know. You were just I don't know. I didn't think it was that bad. Like he's in a rage, and it's like a word that just like triggered him, being like, "Why did you say that?" Like, I don't know. I could just suspend my disbelief for it, I guess. So I don't know. I'm kind of rambling now. I don't know.
Batman versus Superman still gave us the best Batman scene of all time, and that's the warehouse fight.
The warehouse scene, yeah.
I will die on that.
We had that in the Arkham games.
That's a game, though.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. That was a really awesome fight scene, but I do think
My favorite Batman fight scene is still from Batman Begins at the docks.
Docks is good too.
The dock scene, and then because Daredevil literally copied that. Marvel's Daredevil. They did. They like copied it.
I also like the tower assault from Dark Knight where he's like boloing all the guards and stuff.
Yes, that was very Arkham-esque too.
Definitely.
I like that too. Yeah. Those Arkham games are so good, man.
They're so good.
Especially I don't know. I couldn't get into Night because there's too much in the Batmobile.
I never
Arkham City is fantastic.
City is one of the best games of all time. That game is so good.
I love City. The story is great. Joker, in your Joker
head.
And Clayface, and so good. Even the Freeze storyline was good. The Penguin stuff was good. It was just really, really well written. Arkham City was. Yeah, this is this part. Yeah. Did you say Martha? Now we're best friends. Bestest ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. That was an issue. That was a huge issue. It would have made more sense if you didn't have that, and instead they already had Doomsday showed up, and they're like, "What are we doing? This guy's wrecking both Metropolis.
We got to put aside
Gotham. We got bigger things to deal with." And Batman could have been like, "Don't worry," or maybe Batman gets him, and then he's about to kill him, and Doomsday you see some huge explosion or something, and Doomsday's released, and then Batman tells him he does in Dark Knight Returns, just let you know you were beat by a man or something like that. Or he could have been if you wanted to be super corny and go with do you bleed? And he could have been he's just we now know that you can bleed, and I just want you to remember.
Yeah, I made you bleed. Yeah,
yeah, just something like that.
Really play it up.
Because that's super comic booky.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But it would work too. I feel in that
one of those very dramatic splash pages to end the 4-issue arc.
Yeah. Mark 6336 says, "Why can't they turn the Arkham games into?" I don't think you need to. I think
they're cool as their own thing.
The Arkham, you don't need to turn that into a movie.
Plus, they also rely a lot on knowing some background of Batman, which movie studios would screw up. I mean, look at Justice League.
Yeah.
Justice League. Well, I probably am the bigger Snyder fan here on the panel.
I
like his stuff.
John, I like his stuff too. I
just haven't. The only thing I haven't seen is Sucker Punch.
There's moments.
I think the Snyder cut's going to be pretty good, but
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too.
See, I'm
not excited.
Yes, I'm not. We took an editorial stance where we're like, Snyder Cut's great. Fans want that. That's cool.
That's fantastic that they got it.
The Batman vs Superman Ultimate Edition is obviously a lot better than the theatrical. And then so we already have that. We know that that version is better. So that the assumption is okay, Justice League's gonna be better. But then you also Snyder he cast Ezra Miller as freaking the Flash.
Yeah.
And Ray Fisher crybaby.
I mean,
you can't predict that though. You can't predict that.
Yeah, I thought that was fine. He played what he did. I think he played the part well.
I think he played the part well, and I think it was smart to introduce the character to the general public with a new actor.
Remember Lex Luthor?
Jesse, yeah.
I'm not against how he was.
I wasn't
portrayed.
Against him. Yeah,
I wasn't against how he was acted and portrayed.
Yeah, I wasn't against it when he was cast. I was like, okay, they could do something interesting with it. Mm-hmm. Nah, it just didn't.
I saw it as because I think in the Ultimate I don't know. I only remember watching the Ultimate now, but I mean, when he's doing the TikTok stuff at the end, the bell has been rung. I was like, okay, this is where they're going with this Lex. And then when we got that end credit scene in Justice League, I was like, all right, looks to be like the Lex that we're used to. And then like his time in prison and his communication with Steppenwolf had changed him. And he wasn't this like geeky
weirdo
tech CEO guy. He wasn't Jack from Twitter.
Here's why this bad decision was a good decision for you.
I think that was probably the weakest part of Batman vs Superman is the whole like Lex manipulating them to fight each other. I just like that's a little weak. Oh, and that also goes back to it was a lot weak, but that also goes back to my part that the studios copy each other and that the whole purpose of the Crate Dragon was to get Dune. And that's why you had Civil War and Batman vs Superman are pretty much very similar stories. And they both have the same failings, especially when it comes to the villain, like pitting people against each other.
Yeah.
They both have that same problem. And that was probably my biggest issue is that you'd have all these people hating on Batman vs Superman when Civil War had the exact same problems. You had Luthor with like weak motivations getting Batman and Superman to fight, and you had the same thing with Stark and Cap.
And Cap,
with, Zemo.
And Bucky.
Where the much better, interesting part of Civil War was and that comes from the comics, is the fact that they had a philosophical disagreement rather than some guy trying to manipulate them to like fight each other. And I felt like that just took away, like the movie kind of totally changed directions when they introduced the Zemo bombing.
But it gave us the car chase. That was a cool scene.
Yeah, with him. Yeah, that was a cool scene. But yeah, I think that's probably that's one of the weakest points of Batman vs Superman is Lex sending letters to Batman or whatever. I was like, what? This is what?
And the weird like pictures he took of Martha.
Yeah,
the weird Polaroids.
It makes Batman look like stupid. It's like, dude, this is the greatest detective. He's falling for some scam from Lex Luthor. So like, that I haven't. I'm very honest. There's like there are problems.
Yeah.
With those movies.
Be honest. Yeah, definitely.
But I love Affleck's costume design. I love how he carries himself as Batman. That scene where he gets out of the car is like really cool. And there are some like cool stuff that I enjoy. But yeah, I'm not wearing rose-colored glasses. I fully admit that there are problems with that film. And that's the biggest one because they're making Batman look like a complete dunce.
Yeah, going back to the Batman's, man, Batfleck grew on me big time. I thought he was really good.
Yeah, I mean, I make this argument a lot. A lot of it has to do with the material that you're given as well on how well you're going to do. I say this a lot. I think I can't reiterate it enough. I think a lot of it has to do with how it's written and what and how the director is telling you how to act. I am very convinced that actors have little to do with what the story is and how they're actually like being told to do something. Unless it's like a comedy where it's like Martin Short or something like that, or Steve Martin, and like that they're doing stuff on the fly. I think a lot of it is how they're being told to do something. And I think a lot of them are replaceable. So I mean, there's a ton of actors out there. You live out there, Don. You know how many people are out there, and I mean we get new people all the time. So, but yeah, Alexander Vidakovich says I feel like he's a great actor. He acted in some great.
Remember Josh Hartnett?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I remember Channing Tatum. I remember him. Where'd he go?
Really.
He died on the spear that was the Gambit movie.
yeah. Magic Mike fizzled him out. Blue-Eyed Scorpion says, besides the obviously growly voice, I couldn't stand the fighting style they chose for Bale's Batman. The elbow and judo chop didn't do it for me. Yeah, I didn't like the voice that he used. And yeah, I think that had a lot to do with the Batsuit design too.
Yeah.
The Batsuit design was very stiff, but that also goes back to the Keaton film. So maybe that's what it was. But yeah, I agree. The Bale voice is rough.
Yeah, Bale Batman is not memorable for me either.
The suit design is boring, and
I'm not a fan of the suit.
And the fighting style isn't that great. I think probably the best melee combat we got was the sword fight when he's fighting Ra's al Ghul in Batman
in Begins. Yeah,
that's like the best. And then the brawl in the jail, like right before that. So those are like the two best.
That's when they remembered that Batman could fight. Were those
scenes.
Those two scenes, and then gave it up for the rest of the trilogy.
Yeah, because in Batman Begins at the dock scene, it's much more of him like capturing people in the shadows, and you don't see a lot of like him just like actually fighting.
Yeah.
He like elbows that one guy's gun down, which is exactly the complaint.
Yeah.
Blue-Eyed Scorpio.
But yeah, well, yeah. So I am hesitantly optimistic, I guess, for Snyder Cut. I definitely think it'll be an improvement from Justice League, but I mean that movie was not good.
I don't think that's a low bar. That's like Mandalorian versus the sequel trilogy.
All right, so my headphones just died again, so we're gonna call it. We'll let you guys go around the table. So we'll start with you, Spencer.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. As always, guys, thank you for joining us on Wednesday nights for Bounding Live. It's always a pleasure speaking with you guys, laughing with you guys, and making fun of all this various trash we get every week with you guys. You can catch me daily on Bounding Into Comics and on Twitter at Kabuto Writer Mav. Check out the site. We've got a lot of cool things coming up. Personally, I've got a list inspired by who suggested? Was it Roof Korean who suggested it? One of you guys suggested last week a top 10 anime to like introduce yourself to the genre with. So I'm working on that, and we've got a really cool review in the works that should be up in the next week or two. And aside from that, subscribe to everybody here and check out John's daily videos, which are always fantastic, or near daily videos, as much as we can put them up.
Yeah, I put them up pretty much every weekday, so Monday through Friday.
Daily. So yeah, check them out. Always good content.
All right, Don, take it away.
Okay, so I am Dollified. You can find my channel there. I am the balance in the force, the middle of the lane, the referee, the umpire, the council of reason. I might have to change my name to the popcorn eater on the sidelines. But as I'm best able, I can be unbiased when all else is pretty much gone insane. Subscribe to my channel. I spelled it out for you on the little thing there. 2 L's, and that's where you'll find me. Sub to these guys, hit the like button, hit the little bell so you get notified when a new video is coming out. John's putting out stuff daily. I gotta get stuff on my channel too. Shit.
You just put up a really great video on the timekeepers.
Big shout out to Don for sending me these.
Oh, he got those. He finally got them.
Is that Emma Frost?
That's old school Emma Frost.
Yes. When Emma Frost was good looking.
Yeah, Don has a you've got a video. We got a video up from Don on the Bounding channel as well. Check that out about the upcoming Loki series. Very fun stuff there. Can't recommend it enough. There's even protest footage.
Surprise! 2021. But yeah. That it.
Oh, all right, Drew, take it away.
Drew.
All right, I am True Taylor, aka Supreme Heretic. You can catch me on my channel at Supreme Heretic. You can also follow me on Twitter at Supreme Heretic. Well, I still have a Twitter. Because I keep poking the bear, and I know pretty soon they're gonna nuke my Twitter the way they got Wes. But I am a regular contributor to Bounding Into Comics. I love all the great work that these guys do. Make sure that you read our site every day, as Spencer and John said. There's new stories up there every day. So we've got stuff to kind of try and get you through these rough times and keep you sane. So come and enjoy the content on our website, because you want to just take a couple hours and get away and read some good articles. You can read our site, and that'll definitely satiate your reading needs and get you away from the downer that is current reality. But yeah, we're looking forward to doing the WandaVision stuff for you guys, and
Friday.
Yeah, and
yes,
at 7
yes, tomorrow.
Yeah, and we're
that is not tomorrow.
Friday.
Yeah.
No. I mean like midnight ish.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, it drops tomorrow. Yeah.
So we've got some great stuff coming up on this channel. We got obviously our daily videos that John does, and we got just good things on the way in general. As talented writers and journalists as these guys are, you're always got top-notch stuff every day. So make sure that you subscribe to everybody. Check out our channels. Tomorrow, Pegasus Actual will be on my channel. So if you like BSG, come and check out some great Battlestar Galactica content tomorrow. Finally, thank goodness it's back.
Awesome. Mark63366 asks, live review of WandaVision. Yeah, it'll just be like we did the Mandalorian. We'll be doing I don't like calling it a review. I like calling it a reaction and discussion.
Yeah,
because I feel like, we do kind of review it, but it's more like us reacting and discussing
breaking it down and
breaking it down. And then I was actually thinking I might actually start doing reviews again. And doing some of that as well, because I used to do reviews.
Yeah,
the website used to be all about reviews.
I remember those days.
Go look through the archives.
Yeah, but so I might get back into. I think the last one I reviewed was like Ant-Man.
Wow. Hey,
it's been I feel like
bar cut.
Yeah,
I did Sonic.
Yeah, I think so. You're still our Marvel guy. We haven't had any Marvel stuff, so
I know the thing that I'm waiting for. It's not going to be till later in the summer. I can't wait to review Top Gun.
Oh yeah, I
think the last thing I reviewed was Star Trek Lower Decks.
Yes, Lower Decks. Your reviews were awesome. Those were great.
Yeah,
great reviews.
I was going to say I missed that show, but I missed doing the reviews.
So concise. I did want to say I put my jacket on because I wanted to make a joke with Roof Korean. He said here, even though John quells my joy with black pills, I love your daily viz. After this video, I'm not going to say what you said, but yeah, I've got all your black pills right here.
You got it. You want it. He's got it.
So yeah, let all your friends know the black pills are for free. Or Star Wars black pills are for free here at the Bounding Into Comics YouTube channel. So yeah, again, I want to reiterate: 7:00 WandaVision reaction discussion. We will be live streaming it here. We'll probably go for an hour, just like we did with the Mandalorian. So look forward to that. And then we'll be back here again Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern time for our Bounding Live, where we talk about the hot topics of the week. So thank you all for joining us, and I hope you have a great night, and hope to see you on Friday for our WandaVision review. And if not, we will see you next week on Wednesday. So have a great one, guys.
Take it easy.
Night, guys.